his St Kilda team, one of the most courageous and charismatic leaders in AFL football. He comes out, he grabs hold of the little mascot who comes onto the ground. Big day for him. Probably doesn't appreciate just what is happening around him as Nick Riewoldt, with tears in his eyes, look back to his mum, to his son, to his wife and his father and brother, and now runs onto the ground to play his heart out for his late sister. Fight like Maddie, indeed. That's what St Kilda will be trying to do today. And at the other end is cousin Jack, who's just been a pillar of support and pillar of strength for the Riewoldt family, for his extended family comes together. Last instructions now as Nick Riewoldt clears his head. It's all about playing the game of football. He goes in with a calf injury today. But as Sandy Roberts mentioned a little bit earlier, there is more in that heart today than just the physical injuries that he carries onto the ground. Let's have a look at the St Kilda lineup now with Jonathan Brown.
Yes, have a look at this. The big lineup, the backman, obviously Fisher, Gilbert or Dempster. Who lines up the big matchup on Jack Riewoldt? David Armitage, who spoke about in pre-game, of course. Jack Stephen. I would have thought some opposition pressure from him, no doubt about that. And Josh Bruce is the other big gun down forward that they'll be relying on to kick a winning score. St Kilda have been impressive, though, this year, really under the resurgence of Alan Richardson.
And good to see them bring in three youngsters, including Hugh Goddard for his first game. McCartan also in, which completes that trifecta of tools that you're talking about. I wonder whether they're going to use one to be a decoy for Alec Rance, because they've got to get him
out of that forward line.
I think EJ would have said hit the boundary with Alex Rance if you possibly can do it. But the Tigers also have got some youngsters coming into their side, and they've made 3 changes as well. And they're a much better side with Ivan Marek back in the side. But so much pressure on the shoulders, as you've said a few times, Ed, with Nick Riewoldt. He's come in, he's had to do a lot of media interviews. He's also struggled with that injury. Let's hope he can do himself proud on the ground as well.
Yeah, he's pushed himself through. I was watching him closely in the warm-up, Stuart. A couple of times just jagged a little bit. He's got it heavily bandaged there. So it'll be interesting to see, as you say, he plays as a decoy forward, which would be almost a first for the great man. And here we go, the two cousins coming together, Jack Riewoldt and Nick Riewoldt, for the coin toss. An emotional coming together of two great friends, cousins. And Jack wins the first battle. A loving embrace, and now it's back like it was in the backyard in the old days, and they'll give it them all for their particular teams. And the Saints will be kicking, the Tigers will be kicking to the right of screen. Let's go down to David King.
Oh, very emotional day, Ed, no doubt. You can feel it here at boundary level, but this game will be won in the middle. The damage and the sheer volume of these 4 players. You're talking about Codchin and, of course, David Armitage, who's second in the competition for disposals. Trent's in the top 20 as well. So the volume of possessions those two can generate versus the damage of a Jack Stevens, who's #1 inside 50 player in the AFL at the moment. And, of course, Dustin Martin, who can do it all. He's also top 20 in the competition for inside 50s. Whoever wins that head-to-head battle between Armitage, Stevens and Codchin and Martin will just dictate who gives their forwards best chance at winning this game.
Thank you, Kingy. Jared, can you sniff an upset here? Tigers go into the game as favourites.
They certainly do, strong favourites, but I think kicking a score is going to be their issue. I think, as David has alluded to, they're going to need a lot of goal power from their forward line. Brownie, no Morris, Edwards is missing, and he's one of their gun players. Griffiths hasn't been there for a couple of weeks, but Ty Vickery also out. So this is a very different looking forward line for Richmond.
Yeah, no doubt about that, of course. And the pressure well and truly on Jack Riewoldt, of course. However, I think the mids will still spend a fair bit of time forward. Delidio, Martin and Codchin, they'll get some goals from those guys.
So we're all set to go. Billy Lawler carrying the ruck duties in the main for St Kilda.
Marek starting forward set.
Yeah, Hampson holding his spot. He's put together a couple of good games, and from the bounce, it's just ridden into the ground. Guess who's at the bottom? D. Armitage.
Dustin Martin, D. Martin. He's their deepest forward at the present time.
Dempster with the match-up on him.
Armo having a sensational season. 426 disposals, leading disposals in the competition.
Sloppy stuff from Sean Hampson there, and sloppy from Billy. He didn't know which way he was going.
He's worked it out now. He said, I'll just give it to Armo. And he does. To Riewoldt, got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. Nunes gives it quickly across to Weller. High, it almost hits the name Lockett on top of the roof. Bounces down on the ground now. Jackie Stevens was searching, couldn't take it cleanly. Tigers defence under real pressure at the moment. Back to Geary.
That's one way.
It's going to go back. A high tackle.
And downfield too, which gave them the out.
Yep, so they've got it in the middle. Miles was the target. He had it, he lost it, he regained it, he's in trouble. And he may lose it. No, we'll have a stoppage pretty much in the middle of the ground. Good tight opening.
Head of the ball, Sammy. Sammy Fisher's got the big matchup on Jack Riewoldt.
Here's Ellis. He's been good. Gilbert just flicks it out, then receives it once again. Jared Geary wide. Opportunity now for Bruce. Gets a hurried left foot kick going laterally. Hooley is the spoiler. Tigers have got the numbers. McIntosh goes to ground. Montagna chucked it out, and we wish him well with that throw.
Rules have changed this week. Not allowed to throw.
Not throw it out.
Dylan Robertson is the one that's just floating across that half back line as an extra. He's a good player who reads the ball well. It's a good role for him.
Rules change this week as well, Jared, has it? Anyway, the kick comes forward from Batchelor inside 50 for the Tigers' first go, but it's cut off across half-back by Dempster.
Read it really well, dropped off his man. He was actually playing the spare on that occasion, and Gilbert, who's just struggling to get into his very best form, has a good start.
Yeah, he's been lively so far. The handball came in from Weller. Now they're away, the Saints.
Not Riewoldt.
Dunstan goes. He can go the whole way or he goes short. He did it beautifully, just held the kick. And the marker's been taken by Jack Loney, who's kicked 10 goals 13, and he's chipped it off. So Dunstan, who kept running, collects his good play and can line up now from 20 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Good build-up by St. Kilda there off half-back. They were able to get the ball back in there. Move the ball quickly by quick hands off half-back and then use up the spare numbers through, and then Richmond players had to move forward and try and defend, and there was a lot of space over the top. Well worked.
Geez, I'll tell you what, I was watching Josh Bruce work off the ball. He didn't get in play, but he could have been the long option. He works incredibly like Riewoldt.
17 goals, 11 in his 29 games so far, and Dunstan puts the first on the board for the Saints.
Yeah, good start, isn't it? Good signs there, Jared. It started off, though, with a poor kick by Batchelor into the forward 54, Richmond, and that's been the problem, especially last week, is the inside forward 50 kick. Now, we see off half-back here, St. Kilda are able to quickly move with hands, a lot of space. Josh Bruce up the top of the screen, working really hard. That helps create some space, but it was a nice little move there by Loney just to come forward at the kicker. That's an easy kick, easy as you like. Richmond need to tighten up a little bit better defensively.
Dustin Martin into the middle for his first crack at the centre clearance.
And the Tigers wearing black armbands today in memory of Kevin McAvee, who was a boot starter and a life member of the football club at Punt Road. So back in the middle with Longer. Hampson goes early, gets a left hand to it. Martin just tries to push it down towards the 50-metre line. He loses the run to Armitage. Gilbert tries to intercept. Now he's got to claim Martin, and he did that pretty well. Montagna is gang tackled.
So, Joe, just having a look at Dustin Martin, it's almost like a team approach to him at the moment on just trying to curb his influence.
Well, they need to do better than that, Ed, because he got a beautiful flick out from that clearance.
Here's a hurried kick at goal, and there's the quick reply by Nick Vluston. Boy, Vluston gets his first goal of the season and just his 14th in his 53rd game.
If it is team, it's often leads to these sort of mistakes because you're half tag and you're half trying to win the ball, and on that occasion, good flick down to Dusty, and you just got to have good hands and good decision making. It went to Miles, and then Miles dished it off. That's a great goal. Good team goal there from the Tigers.
Got to be careful, St. Kilda midfielders, they're getting all sucked into the stoppage. Got to be careful of those runners that are sitting off the back for Richmond.
So just a tick under 5 minutes into this first term, and it's a goal apiece. Both teams look like they're on today, so it looks like it's building into a really good encounter. Griggs tries to get the ball out of the centre of the ground, dives in a second time, over the top of Armitage, going in his Delidio, thrown to the ground, umpire will bounce. So Nick Riewoldt has been picked up by Chaplin at the moment, at one end, and here comes his cousin, Jack!
Oh, great.
And Jack Riewoldt takes a screamer and then lays off the kick. Just put it behind his teammate, but it will fall to Grigg now, who lines up on the left boot and kicks to the goal square, touched on the line, through for a behind. Umpire's going to have a look at this.
I'd like to see if it was touched before the line.
All right, you heard the umpire there.
Well, it was a great grab. It wasn't the best kick, though. It should have been out in space.
Review underway.
It wouldn't have ended up with Sean Grigg. Grigg's got the job on Armitage.
Gee, tight. Very tight.
6 to 1 half dozen the
That's
other
a
there.
point.
That's a point there.
That's a rush behind. That's a good call by the umpire to go to the
Review
referral.
complete. The score is a behind.
Very good call.
You don't mind those situations where it's a really quick review nowadays. You've certainly quickened up the process. You want them to get it right.
So Robertson brings it back into play. Dempster's a target. There's some pushing and shoving going on, and it's going to be a Richmond free kick going against Nunes. So the Tigers looking to find Martin. They do that. Dustin is well smothered, however. Opportunity for the Saints to clear. Nunes, hand pass in towards the middle. He goes even further afield now to Eli Templeton. Couldn't control it cleanly. Tigers in with a chance once again from centre wing. They set it up through Vloston. He goes high. Inside 50 once more. Jack couldn't get a run at it. And finally it goes over the boundary line, a throw in Richmond's right forward pocket. Let's have a look at that mark once again of Jack Riewoldt.
It was a great grab, but just having a look at this clearance work, and again another angle. The Saints have got a lot of people in and around this stoppage, and it means that the Tigers have got a lot of spares, one kick away. There'd be 5 Richmond players without an opponent.
Weller was in dreadful trouble, couldn't take it. Vloston left it on that occasion for his teammate in Hunt. Couldn't take it cleanly, but they've still got possession. That's the main thing. Deledio back pedals. Going to be all right to the 199 game at Chaplin. He goes in towards the centre of the ground. The mark is taken by Batchelor.
It's going to be one of the key components today, just how the Tigers can hold the ball inside their forward 50.
Well, they'll do it like that as Cochin tries to come through. 3 Saints went up, no one down. Now there's good tackling pressure, and the throw comes out. Weller's got it, and he's away. Gets the 1-2 going with his teammate Longer up towards the halfback flank position. Umpire said in the back. I thought it wasn't a bad bump, that one, but anyway.
Well, in some respects, the Saints were looking for either a mark or a stoppage because they had all their players behind the ball. This gives them a chance to reset.
And a reset they do in just about every player between the arcs at the moment, the 50-metre arcs. As Gilbert, who's been lively, runs around a man on the mark and kicks it long up the line. Sets a task for Nick Riewoldt. He almost got there in the end. Chaplin at the back gets the handball going to Grimes, which was good stuff. Hunt out towards Vloston. Into the corridor. Delidio over the top. Now they're away. No one up further. There's Hunt who was looking. Now they're all forward of the ball. It had to be stopped by Dunstan, and he did, which was good enough almost. Now Batchelor gets it clear. Well, they've been forward of the ball for 10 minutes for the Tigers, and now they've got it inside 50. And now Delidio runs into the open goal and buries them. Well, it was just wave after wave of Tiger running there, and no one got back. They had a few chances to stub it out, but couldn't do it, the Saints, and in the end, the Tigers just overwhelmed them.
Well, they tried to get all the pressure up where the ball was, St. Kilda, and Tigers' game style is to try and use every spare number on the way through in the corridor. You can see here they're prepared to use it by hands, trying to use up all the free numbers. Now, that puts them in a bit of a precarious position if St. Kilda can lay the tackle, but they kept falling off. Richmond were able to get the ball out. Finally, there's going to be some space over the back, and Delidio was able to expose that, run into it. With his speed, no one's going to be able to run him down from behind.
And very much that's the match. You've got the Saints pressing up. You've got Tigers pressing up in reverse. It's who can break the line and get it into that open space. It was good work by the Saints by the Tigers, and the Saints missed a couple of opportunities.
Marich won it, but it's Gilbert who tries to take it out of the middle. Doesn't get very far in as far as Hunt. The Tigers hunting impacts at the moment and doing it pretty well. Lennon, who came into the side, goes towards the 50.
Just losing far too many one-on-ones at this stage. St Kilda just getting beaten in and around the action. Jared, you talked about the clearances, but every genuine one-on-one, Richmond have come out on top in the forward half.
Hampson has had a couple of good games. Just pops it up the top. There's no one there at all. In fact, the Saints fight over it.
We spoke about this pre-game, Sandy, and this has been the real problem for Richmond last week especially. This money kick, this kick inside 50 metres. They've got to be able to get this right to be a top 4 contender.
Gilbert goes longer. Grimes took his eye off the ball for a moment.
Well, they got away with one there, the Saints, because Gilbert played on. He had nowhere to go. There was no one working to give him somewhere to go. Unfortunately for him, he's found the boundary line, and we get another stoppage.
Marriage and Bruce. Marriage with the left hand wins it down to his skipper, who gives it to Martin. Martin running wide, pulls it back, and it is coming back, going deep into the third line. That's a good grab by guess who. What a start for Jack Riewoldt.
What a kick and what a mark. Talk about reading it off the boot, Jono. You love that. You were laughing before the ball even came down. You knew he had it.
What I love about it is the work he does before the ball gets down there. He makes the defender so hard to keep an eye on Jack. The defender's trying to watch Jack and the ball at the same time. Jack makes him take one of those out of the equation. Watch me or watch the ball. And we just see that the defender got lost. He didn't know where the footy was. Jack was able to step around him. His work rate when the ball is up the field's amazing.
3 against Carlton last week. That ball is touched.
That's where he's taking his game to the next level, Eddie, is his work rate. He moves around constantly. Defender can never get settled on him. That's why he's just gone to another step. Already a great player beforehand, but he's gone even higher this year.
Jared, I've got to ask you, though, mate, that was a regulation drop punt from 5 metres, that wasn't it?
Well, I was going to throw that to Brownie because this kick evolved in your era, Brownie. And I think what's happened is we've got better at the kick, but the person on the mark has got a lot better. And getting inside the 5 metre space seems to be quite easy to do now.
You saw it last night with Buddy Franklin. They were really encroaching on his space. They were within about 2.5 metres. I'd like to see a drop punt in those situations.
So dangerous ball here for the Saints. Going up for the mark was Nunes there. He battles on, but so do the Saints and by the Tigers rather. Martin has been fantastic.
Good
He's been picked off. Here they go. St Kilda now through Bruce. Brings it out wider still. It's picked up by Dempster. Dempster goes to the half-forward flank position. Off hands. At the fall of the ball is Weller. Knocks it up. Here's a chance now for Newman for the Tigers. And the Tigers are away to Bashahuli. No one inside, so has to just slap it on the boot and hope for the best. Savage gets an awkward bounce. Just bounced off in pinball fashion and kept running and got it back. Did well. Next kick is important. He decides to go long out towards the half-forward flank position. The high flyer there was Webster. It bounces off the pack, though, and the Tigers are away through Ellis.
Ellis hurriedly with a hand pass over the top to McIntosh. He's claimed, he's ripped towards the boundary line and taken over.
Like his speed, though. Yeah, really like his speed. Game really just bogging down between the arcs as Billy Longer is trying to stem the bleeding from the nostrils. He's got a nice whack.
So it's forced them to continue to use Josh Bruce against Marich, who wins it. Cochin got a hand to it, but that was all. Alice around the body. This may bounce towards the line again, and it does. Some 30 metres from Richmond's scoring zone.
Brownie, they're just breaking down the Saints across centre half forward. They haven't got that hit-up target, that connecting player that we talk about often. McCartan's still learning the trade, and Riewoldt, he's just not covering the ground like we know he can.
From the throw-in, Montagna and Bruce are the tacklers. And we've got another stoppage.
So the Saints breaking down across that half-forward line, Brownie, and it's a point well made by David.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of an issue. They're going to have to sort this out. Richmond's starting to apply a lot of pressure, but the problem is, I think St Kilda got too many numbers up around the ball, Jared. When they exit from the stoppage, they haven't got a lot to kick to.
Armitage got the free kick, goes short to Nunes. Jack's on half-back.
I think a lot of that is to do with the pressure that Richmond are bringing to the contest at the present time. They haven't been able to get the good flow going.
Here's Hugh Goddard. The left-footer from Melbourne Grammar kicks to another newcomer in Paddy McCartan, and he takes the mark on centre wing.
Yeah, they're the bookends, aren't they, Sandy? The two that they're building their club on. One up forward, one at back, and Goddard to McCartan is something St Kilda fans are looking forward to because they've loved what this bloke has been able to do over his career as Nick Riewoldt takes a strong mark. 55 out, just chips it forward.
They can't go long. They have got a magnificent defence already structured up, the Tigers.
He can kick this.
Jack Nunes gets it across now to Savage. Touch play on, said the umpire. It's a long kick to the square and thumped through by Big Hampson for a rush behind.
Well, probably the right idea to give it to Savage, Jared. He's the best kick in the team.
Yeah, it was a great idea, but it was good play by the Tigers as well because they were ready for it.
And Martin brings the ball out again, and Dustin Martin's having a big game so far. Jared, does somebody need to go on to him as Newman kicks up to the forward flank position over the head of the pack?
I reckon you'd be looking at Weller again. It's okay to try team defence, but if you're breaking down, you've got to react pretty quickly with a guy from mine like Dusty.
Okay, so let's keep an eye and see if Mav Weller goes to Dustin Martin.
Well, I think he's got the size there too. He's got the size to be able to go with Dustin Martin, Mav Weller.
Gilbert gets it. The handball was on. Oh, he's turned it over now. Now, on the rebound. This is where Richmond have been good so far today. What happens here? Good clash of bodies. Going in hard was McIntosh. And good defence by the Saints. And we'll have a throw in at half-forward flank for Richmond. We'll call that a 0-all draw. And Webster did well to get across.
Yeah, I think he'll be looking for his corner after this little bit of skill error.
So we've got a throw in.
Great tap.
It was. It's a high ball that goes just inside Richmond's 50. Dustin Martin dived for the slips catch, couldn't quite complete it, and now it's a free kick going against him and will be taken by the Saints.
Yeah, okay. I look like front, mate.
Off the back of the hand, he reckons. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's have a look at this.
Robertson's got the free kick.
Well, the hands are so quick now. I think he did handball that, but it's hard because...
Depends who you barrack for on that one, Jared.
Probably fair comment.
Gilbert to Webster, to half-forward. Geary, if he can get clear. He can. He's got a back pedal, give a little bit of ground to Jackie Stephen. Centering ball to Riewoldt once again.
That's a great kick. That's good vision, good lead.
Still too far out now. This kick's interesting. Coming in from the side, and I didn't think he was going to get there. Well, then he caught one, and Cochin says, come on, that's home and away acting. Is it? Well, let's see what Bev can do.
Well, let's have a look. We'll see it on the replay. You can hear the crowd going off.
They're not happy.
On the scoreboard.
Well, it was a good grab in the finish because it wasn't Nick's best kick. He
Let's have a
pulled
look
a
at
little
this,
bit.
Jared. Good mark.
It's one of those ones where he's looking for the push. The push was a little bit high. He's lucky.
Summer bait. Here's the kick. And he makes them pay. Weller gets his first goal and his ninth for the season.
Going on here.
And that has Cochin.
There's a free kick in the centre here, Sandy.
Well, this is interesting.
Tiger's going to get it.
That's silly play. And again, lack of discipline. So Richmond, courtesy of Cochin, will have a look once again.
Yeah, a little bit silly there. You've got the goal, just go back to the centre.
It's a lot.
Get stuck into them, use the mouth in those situations, don't get physical.
Yeah,
Disappointed with that.
That's really dumb.
So every player has had to stream from one end of the ground to the other.
Always wonder why the ruckman goes in to take the tap here, Jared. He's clearly generally the worst kick in the company. Up Brett Delidio this time, which is a smart move.
Yeah. So Delidio from the middle, shepherded by Rance. He goes long to a huge pack of players. It bounces down the front. No one able to get away cleanly, but there's a high tackle. There's a Richmond free kick, and Miles is going to pick himself up and have a shot. He has been fantastic, Anthony Miles, since coming to Punt Road. He's played 27 straight games. He averages something like 24 disposals and 11 contested possessions a game. All that after being thrown to the scrap heap by GWS.
I think it's part of the reason why you see Delidio and Martin and Cochin be able to spend a fair bit of time in the forward line, because you've got a guy like this in Miles who's really good on the inside of a contest. He can play a lot of stoppages.
Angle's not severe for Miles. The distance is 45 metres. He starts at left and it's going to remain there. Over the back for one behind.
The big problem for the St Kilda team at the moment, Jared and Brownie, is that Jack Stevens just can't get his hands on the ball. He's only had the one disposal we saw was a great pass to Nick Riewoldt that set up the last goal, but he's head-to-head with Miles at the moment. He's been taken to the cleaners.
Well, probably a bit of poetic justice there in the behind, because, let's be honest, had the umpire paid the 50, none of that would have happened. And Savage goes forward.
King, also King, is Grigg. Who does Grigg seem to be getting towards? Has he got a direct matchup?
Just have a little look for you now, Brownie.
Come back in a moment as Savage kicks up towards the forward 50. Oh, good lead and good jump and good mark.
He was with Armitage early in the piece.
And Mav Weller's been pretty good this afternoon so far. Almost the mark taken by Loney. Just got through his legs. One of those awkward low chest marks he was trying to pull in. There's Griggs now trying to get his kick. It's got a Felton going their way now. The Saints, as Longa tries to get down. He's grabbed without the ball. Saints dive in. It's in the back. Saints fans are going nuts. And the umpire will come in and bounce. A bit happening here. We better stay in the wide shot because we've got spot fires breaking out everywhere. Up goes Big Ivan Maric, gets the tap. Here we go, out in the full, and Saints go, about time we get a free kick. As Ellis was dragged off the ball. Lee Montagna's got the ball for St Kilda.
Little Joey, forward of the wing. Assessing his options down in the forward line. This goes long, putting them inside 50, and Grimes is going to be paid the mark.
Pretty good year, Grimes.
He's turned into a good defender, hasn't he?
Yeah, he can play on a number of different types of opponents, Sandy. Different heights, different sizes.
Here's Vlauston towards the wing and Lennon and co. He's claimed by Chips Fisher. Going nowhere. Sam Gilbert, third man up. Miles couldn't take it cleanly, neither could Cochin. Marriage goes in to assist as well.
Just to answer your question, Brand, looks like Greg, he's trying to take Montagna to full forward there. He's trying to get forward of him to make Lee defend. You see him rolling back up now. So that's the tagging role today, Lee Montagna.
David King on the boundary line. Jack Stephen relatively quiet early on. Gilbert goes over the top to Armitage. Now back to Jack. Stephen's pass is a beauty.
That is a brilliant kick. If you're not strong on your left, you want to be awfully good when you kick on the outside of your right. And that was a superb kick. Good clearance work, and the Saints get themselves a chance.
It's an interesting matchup. Troy Chaplin chasing around Nick Riewoldt. Now, we know Nick Riewoldt's probably hampered by his calf injury, so he'd be lacking a little bit of speed, but I'm surprised by that matchup, Jared.
I reckon he's not going to be too concerned if he takes him up to the wing. He'll stay back and guard his space.
Will distance will affect his injury?
It would a little bit, yeah. The driving leg, no doubt. The leg that's coming through, but it seems to be his other leg that's got the crook calf, his kicking leg, so not as much effective as on the other, Sandy.
Greg takes the kick in. He's on the outer flank.
Tell you what is a small concern is that the trainers and the runners' Guernseys, or the colour of their Guernseys, is exactly the same as the back of the St Kilda jumper. I thought he was about to spoil the ball there, and he saw him carrying a towel there, one of the trainers.
Dustin Martin, first one way, then down the line, somewhat dangerously, trying to get clear as lamb, but he's in all sorts of trouble. Martin, bouncing ball to centre wing. Stephen rapidly coming into the game and drawing other players as well. Dempster takes the mark on centre wing, gives it to Dylan Roberton. Has a look now, inside 50. Nick Riewoldt's the target, used the body, couldn't complete the mark. The race is on. Armitage is there as well for the Saints. Armitage and Riewoldt. Chaplin and over the line.
Desperate for the boundary line, but Chappie did a really good job there, just blocking the space and coping with the physical pressure of Nick Riewoldt.
So a throw in, big chance here for the Saints. Riewoldt will do the ruck work. Marriage comes from behind, grapples and does it well, taps it down, but roving the ball beautifully was Loney, who sprays the kick and kicks it out of bounds on the full. So the Saints are certainly standing up to the Tigers, as Jared and Jonathan Brown said earlier. Different look Tigers line up today, so they've had to switch around their forward line.
Got a few key injuries, of course, so they'll be relying on some of their midfielders to certainly kick some goals today, Eddie, that's for sure. Jack Riewoldt, a lot of the time, will have a 2v1.
I think St Kilda on this ground as well all season have been super competitive. It's going to be a real challenge for the Tigers.
Yeah, well, the coach will be talking to Batchelor about kicking off one step after that one. Delidio in all sorts, because as a result of that, the ball is back in the danger zone for St Kilda, unable to clear it from the back pocket with that kick.
Outside of last week, where I thought they were pretty disappointing against GWS. They had a flat spell, and that's going to happen when you're a young side. But their pressure has been manic for most of the year.
Good battle in the ruck there, Longer versus Marriage, and dashing away is McDonough, who kicks it up towards the wing position. Getting back, the Saints have got the numbers here, but the boundary line will win out. Yes, no, umpire said play on. Thought it might have gone out, it didn't. Here's Goddard, the debutant for St Kilda. The kick was an absolute belter. In the back, free kick to Weller, who's been dangerous up forward. So Weller still hasn't gone as we thought maybe as a tag. He's playing forward at the moment and getting plenty of value for the Saints. So Weller off a kick to the hot spot. Big flyer required here. Up they go, the pack. It was Riewoldt who stayed down. It was Riewoldt who snapped around the body and missed.
How refreshing was it, Brownie, to see a defender actually within 3 metres of the boundary line and actually keep the ball in?
I think he was watching during the week David King speak about that. It should be a free kick to the last person, against the last person to touch it.
Well,
that might be a glimpse into the future, Jared.
He had a 2-on-1 advantage, but that has never really been an issue.
Jack Riewoldt's a long way from home as Montagna picks it up, pokes it cleverly towards Stephen. That was well done. Can you get clear, Jackie Stephen? No, he can't, but he gets the hand pass. He takes it back again. He's running into the pocket. Dribble kick is on. Just touched on the line.
That has spoiled one of, and possibly the goal of the year. That was incredible.
I think so.
Great run by Jack Stephen. So Hurley again will bring it back into play.
Good spell here. They've got to break a line and get the pressure off the Tigers.
Oh, he's kicked to himself and he's put himself in dreadful trouble. Riewoldt, the two of them are there, Jack and Nick. Jack's got support. Now he's claimed he was taken high and he's going to get a free kick. A little fortunate.
He fell over there,
He did. He slipped. It's good pressure by the Saints, but the Tigers get themselves an out clause.
Billy Lower furious, but he can do nothing about that. So Riewoldt kicking towards half forward. Delidio does the roving work. Had it only for a moment though. Now the Saints through Nunes, an opportunity. Threw it straight up in the air. Well, a spike towards Marriage. He couldn't pick it up initially. He goes again. He goes a second time and he gives it straight to Weller, who gives it to Gilbert. Saints are away. Lead is on from Nick Riewoldt wide, close to the boundary, and he takes the mark.
For a bloke with a bad calf, he's covering some territory, isn't he, Nick Riewoldt?
Centering ball once again by Riewoldt. Gilbert's a flyer. Got at front of the pack, couldn't complete the mark. The Newman hand pass is okay and they're out of trouble. Hooley took it from Hunt and they're away.
And Savage just trailing at the back there. Ball beats him over the line for a throw-in. Let's have a look at Stevens' kick here. How close was this? It was just about right. It would have gone through, I think, but Rance got back and saved the day for the Tigers. So throw-in on centre wing on the outer side. It's a good game of football here. Saints by a point, 16-15. Balls over the crowd. Umpire agrees. And Miles is tackled. And the free kick going to Nunes.
A lot of pressure on young Hugh Goddard. He's the deepest defender at the present time. He's on his own. But if the ball does turn over, he's charged with a hell of a responsibility.
Yep, he's looking up, and the bloke who will run straight at him will be Big Ivan Maric. I don't think he'll care about him being a debutant.
No. Didn't look up the games played, Colin.
No, he'll be looking to make an impression, I reckon.
They've got one off the bench here, the Saints, which is going to help. Geary.
And Geary takes the mark. Kicks up to the forward 50. Big fly from behind. Good play by Robin. Did he get it? Yes, said the umpire.
Good marks. It was a poor kick, Eddie.
Yep. So Robin with 23 seconds on the clock.
Let's get it
Last chance. So big bomb. Here they go. Jack in the pack. Looking for a big mark almost. Hands to the back. It falls to Weller. Bounces it. And it goes through for a behind.
It's been good. What I've liked about St Kilda's game, they're happy to pepper the top of the goal square there. They know they've got big options in the air, but they've got some really good crummers. We've seen Loney pop up. Sinclair's the sub today. There's quite a few dangerous small forwards there as well if they can get it to ground. It's one that Richmond will need to be careful of.
So scores 2 points are different as Delidio does his best to run the clock down and does it successfully. And we've had a very entertaining opening term here in the game for Maddie at Etihad Stadium. St Kilda a 2-5-17, Richmond 2-3-15. Goals to Dunstan and Weller for the Saints and to Delidio and Vlosten for the Tigers. St Kilda lead 2-5-17, Richmond 2-3-15 in the game for Maddie Riewoldt.
What a great response it has been by football fans to Maddie's match. Over 40,000, I'm sure, here today. And it is just wonderful to see. And both Jack and Nick have responded in a fitting manner. Jack's been a high flyer and Nick's had a couple of shots at goal. There's been a bit of biffo. There's been a little bit of everything. It's a good, tight contest, and that's what we want to see on Twilight Football on a Sunday afternoon in Melbourne. St Kilda leading 2-5-17. Dunstan and Weller their goal kickers. 2-3-15 Richmond, Delidio and Vlosten. As there was an emotion-charged start, but then they got down to business, Brownie and Gerard.
They did. They were fantastic. What about that mark? Straight into it. What I like about that mark was his movement. Got back towards goal, moved around really well. But Nick Riewoldt, saw him in the warm-up. He looked like he was going at about 50%. But he's moving beautifully out there. He's got the Troy Chaplin match-up, Gerard. Seems to be getting the better of that.
Well, he's going to get him on the lead, but Chaplin neutralised him on a couple. He would have been dirty missing that opportunity. David King.
Well, it's a simple game, boys. You spoke often upstairs there, Brownie, about Richmond's inability to mark the ball once they went inside the forward 50. You can have a look here. 11 kicked entries and only took the 1 mark inside the forward 50 for a return of 1 behind to Jack Riewoldt. It's simply not AFL standard at the moment. It's been a problem for a couple of weeks now. But what that's actually done is allowed St Kilda to counter-attack out their defensive 50. They've kicked 2 goals, 1 of their 2 goals 4, or their 2 goals 5, I should say, on counter-attack. So if Richmond could correct their entries, it'll help them defensively as well as offensively.
Great stuff for David King, and talking to the St Kilda coach Alan Richardson on Friday, boys, he was saying that the biggest thing they can do today to win this game is to get their forward entries, to really get it in, use their midfield, run, as David just said, off halfback, get it out of there as quickly as possible and get it up their end as often as possible.
Well, and they had no forward entries early. It was 12-3 halfway through that first quarter in Richmond's favour. They ended up the quarter 14-13, so he would have been a lot happier with that second part of that quarter, Ed.
All right, let's get stuck into the action. Jared, keep an eye on Trent Cotchin. Tell me what you think of him at the moment, because there's been a pretty tight tag on him. Dunstan's done a reasonable job and got forward and kicked the goal as well. As up they go, and Hampson gets the first touch, and right on cue, there he is, the man. Cotchin gets the handball out to Riewoldt, and there's renewed vigour from the Tigers, who look like they've had a bake from Dimmer at quarter time. They dive in, full of verve and vigour, but we'll have a ball up.
Did you see that? Jack Riewoldt started at centre-half back and came charging through, Eddie.
And hanging around for the ball up as well. It's going to flip out the back to Jack. Got hands to the ball. Longer goes in again. Armitage for St Kilda. Flicks it out wide, looking for Stephen. Did well to Savage. Just found a bit of space. Back to Stephen again. The handballs to Dunstan. It came a long time. It was slow and it was looping. And as a result of that, the Tigers were able to get in there and have a go at it. Free kick in the back or a throw.
Yeah, he didn't get rid of it properly. That's great pressure. Since Jack Stephen got himself up and about, the Saints have looked a lot better.
He stubbed his toe there. Did you see that? He brought up sand. It's like one of my 7 irons there, except the ball went forward. And the ball now in the half-forward flank position for the Tigers. So a turnover there as Hampson gets the handball going. It hits the deck. Chance now for the Tigers to Grigg, who will line up from 45 directly in front.
Well, they're all abusing each other there, the Saints, and fair enough, they just mucked around with it. Half a dozen mistakes. Richmond weren't much better, but finally they got a reasonable kick. Yeah, Trent Cotchin's had an interesting 6 weeks. He's been absolutely fantastic, except for his first quarters.
Yeah, he started poorly. He's had some massive third quarters, hasn't he?
He's actually hurt himself here too, Stephen. Have a look at this.
They do hurt, Ed.
Look,
they do hurt. You just hope that you don't do it in front of about 30 or 40,000 people like today.
Hurts the coach too when this goes through, if it goes through.
So Sean Grigg comes in, is bending back. He's a good set shot, and he's kicked the goal.
Been in pretty good form this year, Grigg.
Yes.
They really use him as a, well, not really a hard tag, because Richmond's not a hard tagging team. We see Jack Stephen here stubbed his toe. Oh, we've all been guilty of those, no doubt about it, but that really costs the side. You hope it doesn't cost them a goal. They had a lot of numbers there behind the play, but they were smart here, Richmond. They were able to use up. Just take the obvious one. Take the easy target. Get the set shot set up there nicely. Good finish by Grigg.
So Jack having a little bit of work.
Choco happy.
But he'll be back. So back in the middle once again. Longer to contest. He's a real workhorse. Up against Hampson, they go to ground. Cotchin tries to rip it away, and he's still going. Good second effort, couldn't get it cleanly. Alice is the assist. He does well to Miles. Spears it up towards the half-forward line, and the mark is taken there by McDonough. McDonough goes into the pocket, and it's through the arms of Dempster. Martin was a target and over the line.
It's a really good tactic. You try and get Martin one out. He's one of the great one-on-one players, but Dempster has been around a long time. He's an all-Australian small defender, and he did a good job.
Big smash down towards Grimes. He's claimed by Joey Montagna. Grimes goes again, and he's holding it in. He could be in trouble. He's in real trouble.
Let him get up, get the footy. Back here.
A bit niggling in this game.
Big Billy comes in. He wants to carry on with Grimes. Montagna just standing back, waiting.
Yeah, meanwhile, Montagna's waiting for Billy to go down the line so he can kick it to him.
Well, he's down there. He's arguing with Hampson.
Oh, that is great work.
Stephen, well done by Weller. Poor kick. Straight onto the chest of Taylor Hunt.
Geez, he's improved Mav Weller as a player. That was gold class stuff, front and centre, and then a very sharp handball out. Should have been better the kick.
So Miles, it's a Greek who's been fantastic. Marks, turns, runs, and gains about 65 metres with the run and carry, and then the mark is taken on the chest by Dustin Martin, who's just starting to build into this game. He goes off one step to the top of the square, up there holding.
Richmond.
Free kick.
Well, fair enough too. You can complain all you like, young Robertson, but you didn't look at the ball.
Mark's here because you took your eyes off the footy, you ran at him and you took him out of the contest.
Spot on. He just edged him straight out of the contest. He wasn't looking at the footy.
So as a result of that, Ben Lennon, who's kicked 2 goals in his career, 2 goals too,
Yeah, that's that.
comes in from point blank range and has kicked the second for the Tigers for the quarter.
Yeah, definitely agree with that, Jared. That was a free kick. As soon as the defender takes his eye off the ball, you want to see a genuine one-on-one. The art to that is you need to spin his head a lot quicker, Robertson. Didn't have the confidence, though, to look back at the footy earlier.
Well, he got out of position, so he lost the ball. And the key to being a great defender, as great defenders tell you, is watching the ball as well as your man.
Jared, should it just be that he held him? Does it really matter where his eyes are?
Yeah, it does. It does, I think.
Well, otherwise you just keep pushing him up out of the play.
Well, he's on the bench now. That tells a story. So back in the middle. Tigers kick clear. They lead by 10 points. Longer and Hampson, neither a decisive one. Armitage looking for Stephen again. Couldn't find him. It's Grigg who gets it out of the middle to Martin. They're away to Ellis. Up towards the 50 he goes. Bounces back to Anthony Miles on all fours. Back to Braden Ellis once more. Back to Martin. That trio combining. Short to Hampson.
Got to respond here, the Saints. The Tigers are having their way with them.
There at the moment, Taylor Hunt, the lead is on. There's a lot on that ball. It goes over the back. The mark not paid. Tiger fans not happy. Chaplin spears it into the pocket. Riewoldt was a target. Had to beat a couple. Hurried snap is an absolute beauty. They've got another one. Chrissy Newman. He's kicked 4 goals. In fact, he's kicked 48 goals, now 49 in 260 games. He'll talk about that one for a while.
And it keeps on going. They are dominating this quarter. Went through hands again. Good grab. Got it out into space. And then just Chaplin hit to a dangerous spot. 2 on 1, but they were good enough. Out the back, the former skipper, David King.
Well, let's have a look at Dustin Martin because he's been everywhere so far today. And have a look at his plotting of his possession. You can see there, not a lot of work down back. Where he does his damage is forward of centre. 9 disposals in the forward half of the ground. That's why Richmond have got rolling.
Sam Gilbert now going into the middle of the ground. They're really moving them around through the middle, trying to get a better balance than what they've had.
And Bruce has gone in as the ruckman for St.Kilda to give Longer a bit of a chop out. Now, Bashahuli tracks the ball at half-back. It runs around on an arc. He's pushed off the ball, picked up by Farron Ray. High up and under. Plenty of Saints lurking at the fall of the ball. One of them was Weller, but it bounced a little bit too far for him. Might have a second go here. Grimes is in all sorts. He's caught. He's gone. No, umpire said.
There's no tackle. It's slipped out. It's got to be
Well,
a
that's
tackle.
why young Paddy McCartan, the umpire, is actually coaching him. If he had have laid the tackle, he would have had a shot at goal, but he knocked the ball out of his hands.
So 5 up at that ruck contest. Grigg just gets the handball going. Martin lifted behind him. Goes
That's
Bruce
right.
again. Threw it out. So did Jack. So did Nick, rather. Comes out now to Geary on the left boot. Kicked it over the head of his teammates. Play on, says the umpire. Hampson, little handball over. Grimes, wider still. Hooley did well. Found a bit of space. That was great play by Basher Hooley, but then let himself down with a kick. And it's over the line, out of bounds on the full. So the Saints through Savage. And getting a little bit angry down there is Basher. Didn't like the attention he got from Weller.
Play on, Shane.
So Weller's making a nuisance of himself up forward. He's a good, strong body presence. You like that, Jonathan?
Love it. Love to see that. That's what you want from... He's come along from the Gold Coast Suns. He's really lifted his game since being at St. Kilda.
Templeton's kick towards Riewoldt. Miles. Riewoldt slow to get up, but he's not the only one. Oh, that's a high tackle. That was not very subtle. Grimes almost had his head taken off.
Great defence by young Matt McDonough, who came off his man and saved the Saints, saved the Tigers a goal.
Grimes towards Marich, who's surrounded by Saints, and Fisher takes a good mark.
This is St. Kilda's game. They kept the ball in their forward half more than any side in the competition, Sandy.
Veteran of 209 games now is Fisher. He goes long towards Nick Riewoldt, and it's just palmed away.
Good experience by Chaplin there.
Yeah.
Brownie, they're the #1 team in the competition, St Kilda, from scoring from midfield turnovers. They haven't been able to get that going today. Just the 2 points so far from their midfield turnovers. Haven't got a result on the scoreboard. You suspect it's coming.
Over the line once again. Hopefully a big day next week for Troy Chaplin as he joins the 200 club.
That was the area of the game that let him down last week, I believe, King, against GWS. GWS were able to turn the tables in that stat.
I wonder if parking all of your players in their forward line, as Richmond are doing, makes that stat more difficult to accumulate. It's only Cochin is the only one forward or centre at the present time, having a rest out of the middle.
Marriage initially tried to get it to McDonough. Eventually Nunes in towards full forward. Grimes couldn't take it. Bruce a chance. Goes to ground. They try and soccer off the ground. Now McCartan goes in. He can't pick it up. Pulls it back in once again. Weller snaps.
Great effort, McCartan.
Well done, McCartan, and well done, Weller, who's got his second. And the Saints have got their third, and they've cut it back to a 10-point margin.
Well, it wasn't that spectacular, but it's one of the most impressive things I've seen him do. I'm sure he's going to do a little bit more. Have a look at this. He dives, he gets it, he executes, whips it out to a teammate to advantage. And Mav Weller continues his good day inside forward 50.
Yeah, great effort. It's pretty exciting, isn't it, to see Goddard and McCartan both here today. Obviously, the stars of the future. Well done by St Kilda, as we just spoken about. That's their game. Keep the ball in their forward half with relentless pressure, and the ability of the small forwards, especially to finish off. That time was Mav Weller, who has spent a fair bit of time forward this year.
Well, the Saints have pushed Gilbert up onto the wing because essentially there's no one for him to play on in defence. They're gone really small in the forward half, Richmond.
Armitage, Montagna, Stephen, the big names for the Saints are starting to come together. Mav Weller having a spell on the bench. As Gerard said, he's gone from the Gold Coast to gold class in recent times, and the ball's gone over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in on the outer side. 10 points the difference, 3 goals in this term to Richmond, and the Saints finally getting on the board at the 10-minute mark of the second term.
There is that man, Eddie. He came with big raps to the Gold Coast Suns. Probably didn't hit those standards, but starting to reach that potential now.
They're originally from Tassie. Now, Joey Montagna trying to work something with Goddard, whose kick is over the line and out of bounds on the full on the left foot.
Wasted opportunity there. The young bloke will be critical of himself. He wouldn't be as good a young talent if he didn't have high standards.
Tell you what, St Kilda have been really disciplined here. They're trying to take out the short, uncontested kicks for Richmond. That's how they've built their game in the last few weeks.
So Hooley goes up the line and
forcing that kick in. They want them to kick down the line. That's their motto. That's what Alan Richardson would have been saying. Make Richmond kick long down the line today, especially with Jack Riewoldt being the only tall forward.
It's a far better drilled St Kilda side, that's for sure, as the kick from Loney just fades across the front of the goal and through for a behind.
Just watching how they defend here, St Kilda. They do guard boundary side. The long down the line kick, they guard boundary side. They challenge the Brownie to come through the absolute corridor of the ground. Then they back their tackle pressure to force turnovers and create scores.
Got one at the back here, the Tigers.
Couldn't take the mark over the line.
You've got to back your small forwards in. Ryan Loney's had a couple of goes at goal. One, he went round the corner in the first quarter. I think he would have been better off with a drop punt. There's another knock in the head, but on that occasion, I reckon he could have kept coming and hit a target up. He was on a pretty acute angle.
Marriage trying to do the work from behind. Fisher's hand pass is okay. The Saints will go inside 50 once again. The race is on, and the youngster takes an excellent mark.
Big kick this one.
She had a good turn of foot there.
Eli. Yep, good to see him back in.
Bit of a speedster.
I reckon his broken arm was reminiscent of a car accident in the break that he had. So it's wonderful to see him come back into this side.
Just his 4th game for the season. Looking for his first goal of the night. Kicking from right on 50. Starting at right, and boy, did it stay right. Scores not required.
And another opportunity wasted by St Kilda.
Yep.
And you get so many in footy, the momentum will swing. You've got to score when you've got it.
Chaplin down the line. Marriage, Grimes flying for the Tigers. A lot of Saints waiting down. Hurried kick, the ball was touched. That came from Goddard.
That's a good
Goes
tackle.
towards the 50. Spooned out the back, but straight to Anthony Miles. He gives it away now towards Rance, off to Martin. The Tigers going wide, but they're slowly getting out of trouble. And they're going to now. Chaplin, kick partly smothered. He's got to go again. He's on all fours. You got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of it.
Well, that's a turnover that should have resulted in a goal, but the Tigers went wide. Ben Lennon had made the charge, and he was desperately disappointed that they didn't come corridor.
Farron Ray, the recipient of the free kick, and the Saints go charging in to the forward line once again. Eli Templeton was waiting at the front, waiting in vain, however. Now they've got an opportunity, but there's a lot of yellow and black, and that ball will not come out.
Just been a little bit sloppy. The Richmond boys bringing out defence.
The umpire reckoned he dragged it in and essentially didn't get it out.
So free kick to McIntosh. He goes for a bit of a trot. Recovers the bounce. Runs out to 50 and then kicks it straight to a St.Kilda opponent. So Dunstan now brings the ball inside. He's missed it. And this is dangerous now. They're off to the races as Hunt looking for some support. Gets it over to Newman. Newman looks up and says, I'll have a shot. I want to kick my second. He's kicked it for touch. In fact, the stadium play. Now it rolls over. However, throw in, which is the next best thing to a goal, I suppose, because the ball's still alive.
Yeah, not impressed, the two coaches there, that's for sure. Especially the kicking of both sides. Been very ordinary this quarter.
Been ordinary this year for just about every club in the competition. Throw in. And Cochin is lurking. Delidio, great play. Slammed it on the boot. Acrobatic. Here's Jack. Jack Riewoldt searches,
Clever
looks,
kick.
and centres it beautifully. Lambert on the end of it. But that was magnificent from Jack Riewoldt, who on the boundary line puts his boot back on. Just shows he can do it with 1 foot.
How good was that vision? Sensational, wasn't it? Rolled around. A very dangerous kick normally, but he had the vision to be able to sum it up very quickly. Know that Lambert had a fair bit of space around him to lob it over the top.
Sammy Fisher will be filthy on himself, not sticking that tackle.
Fight like Maddie on the boots of Jack Riewoldt. And he got the ball across to Kane Lambert, who comes in and kicks the 4th of a quarter for the Tigers. And Kane Lambert kicks his first goal in football. Has 1-3 next to his name now after 5 games.
Well, that's just a succession of mistakes. Firstly, the kick to inboard from Luke Dunstan. In that particular case, they didn't cover all that options, and Sam Fisher allowed that tackle to go unstuck. You see there, just didn't quite work the hips. And that's a brilliant kick from Jack.
It is a cardinal sin, though, to allow that amount of space inside the forward 50 like that.
Almost 17 minutes gone in this second term. Saints need a couple if they're going to stick with them. Otherwise, they're presenting themselves with a mighty task in the second half. Longer, Armitage got a hand to it, but he needs support. Now they've got it through Jack Stephen to the 50. 1 grab, not enough. Had to be 2 for Nick Riewoldt. Templeton, Eli, you're in trouble. Advantage is paid. And the Tigers are away. Sean Grigg backpedals a little before Ellis takes it from Vlosten. Brandon Ellis.
Just little mistakes from St Kilda, Brownie. Nick Riewoldt drops the mark. A couple of fumbles. Brilliant tackling by Richmond to take that ball away.
Miles on centre wing. Just going long. No one able to get a decent run at it. And there was some blocking going on, but it was ignored by the umpire. So the Saints backpedal to Savage.
Haven't seen that rule paid much this year, Sandy. Of course, that new rule interpretation where the forward, if he gets blocked out by the 3rd defender, should be a free kick. Haven't seen it paid much.
They did for the first couple of weeks, and I think they've just gone off it, Brownie.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see a stricter interpretation of that, Eddie.
Gilbert in trouble after taking it from Bruce.
Play it down on the outer side too, Sandy.
Yep, we'll keep an eye on him as Martin tries to get the hand pass away. Gives it to Hooley. Basher goes inside 50 once again. Jack Riewoldt.
That's great play. The Saints should have broken a line there. Just a bit scrappy around the edges at the moment.
So it's Grimes on the outer side there. It's an interesting afternoon.
He's copped a couple, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Yep. Well, in the meantime, Jack Riewoldt is going to go back and try and kick his first for the afternoon. Had a couple of snaps. And Grimes is up, so that's good news. This to stretch the lead, which is currently 15 points. Slow approach from Riewoldt, starts it right, and it's never going to deviate from there.
Disappointed with that.
Yet another behind. 6-4 plays 3-6 with almost 20 minutes gone.
So let's have a look here with Grimes. Just yeah.
What happened there? Was it in Summer Bay again, was he, Sam?
I think
A bit of a tangle with
an
Bruce.
audition.
There's been a few auditions today.
A bit of a backhander there. Anyway, let's keep going. As Goddard, that was a good give and go to Stephen, who kicks it out wide. There's Bruce again, and Basher Hooley from behind thumps it over line out of bounds. Pretty much on the wing. Let's have a look at that one again with Grimes, just to see what was going on there. Bit of a push back with the arm.
He'll be right.
Throw in. Longer gets the tap. Grigg, who's been very busy today, is doing well. Good smother by Stephen. It comes back, though, as Hunt thumps it onto the left boot. Bounce, bounce, bounce here. Jack does it beautifully, punches it forward. Going to the ground there, it was Lambert. It comes out again for the Saints. Gilbert has been pretty good today, looking to give it off. He's held it for an eternity, just got it away. Just got it away in time. Farron Ray on defensive 50, wobbles it with the left boot, gets a lucky bounce. Longer at the back is looking for that boundary line and finds it for a throw in on centre wing.
What do you think there?
Let's have a look at this tackle once again. Well, he pirouettes like
Well, they didn't even get him, though, did they?
Yeah, actually wasn't, I suppose, a proper tackle. So you need to tackle properly still to be able to pay that free kick.
Grigg, penetrating hand pass, but the bounce made it awkward for all. Montagna was waiting down in front. Dunstan has been relatively quiet for the Saints so far in this game. Weller's been active, who's a flyer there. We've got another throw in on the outer wing.
Pressure from the Tigers, though, has really lifted. It's a question of who was going to handle the heat. We discussed that pre-match, and at the moment the Saints aren't really coping.
Hampson from the back. McIntosh could have been taken high, almost in a headlock by Sammy Gilbert. But now he's going to be rewarded for that interesting tackle. He's got a free kick.
Dunstan's doing a pretty good job, though, Sandy, keeping Cochin pretty well held.
Yeah, true. Now, here's Paddy McCartan.
This is much better from the Saints. A little bit more direct. Sometimes when the pressure from the opposition is as good as Richmond's been in the last 5 or 6 minutes, there's nothing wrong if you've got the tall forwards, Brownie, getting it in there and giving them a chance.
Go to him. Got a one-on-one situation. Get it in there, even though it's Alex Rance. We know he's good in the contest.
What about the body work, Brownie? What about the early body work then from McCartan on Rance? Was fantastic.
The only time we've seen that this season against Rance is Jesse Hogan. So two of the younger fellas getting a hold of Rance there, King.
So McCartan, so far in his short career, he's kicked one behind. And he's going to double his score. Still looking for his first goal in senior footy. He's got 2 behinds. The kick in, dangerous here. Martin was the target. Dunstan almost had an opportunity to dribble it forward. Eventually it was pushed over the line by the opposition.
Jared, you're red hot on the rules at the moment. Tell me that's not deliberate. I know it's so-called pressure, but if he handballs it over the boundary line, why is that deliberate?
Well,
I think we're going to have a look at that one.
I'm with you. I think everything's being looked at the
why don't we
moment.
just go back to the old rules?
I spoke to Alistair Clarkson, who actually had that rule enforced because of his goings-on in the 2000 Grand Final. I think even he would like it made more strict.
I'll tell you what, that's a lovely line, Eddie. Coming from you to Jared, you're red hot on the rules at the moment. Sensational. Oh, dear.
Oh, I think we should go back to 1977, get that rule book out and see how we go.
Here's Marriage. Into the pocket he goes. And that's a good kick by one big man to another. Sean Hampson takes the mark.
Give him one then too, Jono.
That's right. Give it to him. You're right, Ed. Certainly no disagreements from me there, Ed. Good pass there by Big Ivan. He's a big inclusion, Ivan, of course. He's one of the most important players, if not the most important player. Lovely kick there to Hampson, who was pretty serviceable last week in Marriage's absence.
Very good. I'm sure he got one of the coaches' votes. And this is the reason why he isn't getting more game time, because he hasn't been able to convert opportunities. He's a terrific first ruckman, but getting a score is going to help him a hell of a lot more than a point.
Geez, you're a tough marker. Would have been a big ask if you had slotted that one through.
Would have got him 3 games, though. Slipped that one through.
I hope he gets a water bottle out for that mouth guard too. Anyway, Savage in that back pocket. Oh, just held in the air a little bit. But the mark's been taken by Goddard, who has shown a bit today, hasn't he, already in his first half of football.
There's some amazing stuff grows in blokes' mouth guards.
Well, look at this. This is a shocking turnover. Jack has turned it over as well. Well, it's Benny Hill music time almost in this game. There's been a lull, but it comes to Delidio and a bit of polish. Goes bang and puts it through for the 5th of the game and his second. 5th of the quarter for the Tigers, his second of the game.
Well, they've owned this quarter, the Tigers, and a lot of it has been to do with just really bad St Kilda work, and this is another one. Great finish by Brett Delidio. And David King, your thoughts?
Well, the Richmond midfield, their ability to go forward and impact the scoreboard is a major asset for them. That's the one reason why they don't rely heavily on Riewoldt anymore. You can see there the good spread of contributors. Martin and Cotchin we talk about often. Grigg with 11's a fantastic contribution for the season so far. Edwards not there today. We know Delidio's a star. He can play anywhere. He's found a role probably as a more permanent forward this year, but he's an elite player in the midfield also.
Yeah, Delidio 14 possessions so far. Grigg and Martin have got 16. Cotchin 9 or 10. And we've got another one there as Geary stops the run. And we've got a stoppage.
What's been real improvement to this quarter is Richmond taking 6 marks to 1 on the lead in their forward half, Sandy. That's an area of the game last week in the first quarter they struggled with. They've got that part of their game back on track.
Here's Martin off to Cotchin. Penetrating hand pass inboard to Grigg. He swings around now because he's got to get onto that left foot. He does well, and so too does Hampson. And he is suddenly proving a problem down in the forward line.
I think he's a player, Sandy, that if he's not guaranteed first ruck spot for the Tigers next year, I think he'd be looking to go somewhere else. So it's a really important time for him at the present time. They've seen the matchup one-on-one against the first gamer. They've knocked it in there and he gets another opportunity.
Now the angle's slightly less severe this time than it was a couple of minutes ago in the other pocket. Drop punt looks clean, but he's again pushed it right across the face and it just sneaks in for a behind.
Just make the point again, he's a first ruckman that has really struggled in front of the sticks, and it's unfortunate because he's too good a player in my view to be playing VFL footy.
Roberton. Rance, look at that. A super fist, probably 40 metres over the line, and what a year he's had. A new contract, the Tigers would be delighted with that.
The double fist Kevin Worthington would have loved looking at that one. Speaking of 1977, Sandy.
Yeah, my word. Well, you love to reminisce, don't you?
I do, mate.
Yeah. Armitage, almost. Well, taken very high. Not a subtle tackle on that occasion, and he could be in a spot of bother, Lennon. Went short. Cotchin got a touch. Montagna recovered. Stephen over the top. Now the Saints are away. Nunes goes long. Rance has got to turn the body. He did it well and he almost completed the mark. Second effort now by Rance. He pushes it through to Vlosten. Vlosten finds Marriage. Back to Vlosten. He's in trouble. He gets it to Grimes. Grimes stands still and then he takes off. His kick is partly smothered. He's going to retrieve it himself. He does. He's surrounded by Sainters. He almost throws it out to Ellis. Ellis has got to beat a couple as well. He can't. Now the Saints have a chance. Through Stephen. They're away, but Bruce's claim.
Their pressure's been superb in this quarter, Richmond.
Nunes in trouble. The cry ball goes up again. Newman's hand pass is okay. Wide towards Lambert. Gives it back to Batchelor. Off to Martin. Back to Ellis. Finally, another one finds Lambert again. He's in trouble. Billy Longer goes to ground, crashes into Martin, who's also there at the bottom of the pack, and he's going to ping him. Boy!
The Richmond runner out in the ground saying, get down the back half. That's all he wants to do. He wants everybody in the back 50.
45 seconds to go in the quarter. That's why, as Savage kicks up the line, and they've got enough numbers back here, the Tigers side. Good play by Rance, who just read the ball, and then a beautiful penetrating handball into Ellis. There's still time for the Tigers now. From defence to offence. And away goes Delidio. Delidio looks up, waiting, ran into trouble, got the handball off. Cotchin, 25 seconds. Jack's got to beat 2. Jack beats 2. because at that stage, Jack was running back but just couldn't get clear. He would have just had to bomb it, and it would have been an easy punch through for a rush behind because they had the numbers. He held up, and Cochin's kick was a ripper. And a lot of hard work up forward by Jack Riewoldt to find a bit of space. And the mark was a ripper. And Jack Riewoldt's done everything bar kick a goal so far in this first half. What a fitting end to this first term. The game for Maddie as Jack Riewoldt lines up from 30 metres out, 45-degree angle for the 6th goal of the quarter for the Tigers, and Jack's first for the game. He comes in and kicks and does all that and more and splits the middle. And the Tigers grab this game by the throat at half-time. It's Richmond by 28 points. St Kilda 3-8-26. Richmond 8-6-54. The game for Maddie. Welcome back to what is the game for Maddie, and this is this morning as both players, Jack Riewoldt and Nick Riewoldt, prepared to come to Etihad Stadium. Amazing scenes here today as the purple in the crowd signifying the love and respect of the football community for this family, for the things they've had to go through in recent times for the passing of Maddie, but also for the future in trying to beat this invidious disease that is the bone marrow issue that we're talking about all throughout the day. Here's Fiona Riewoldt giving her son a last kiss.
Welcome back to Etihad Stadium. Saints are down by 28 points, and one of the reasons as we go down to David King. Kingy, the Tigers have fixed up their inside 50s problems in the second quarter.
Certainly have, Sandy. 11 in the first quarter for 1 mark, 11 in the second quarter for 7 marks, and that contributed to their 6 goals, 3 in that term. Their dominance is back around the footy, but forward 50 is where they're cashing in.
David King on the boundary line, dual premiership player.
Yeah, they certainly got a lift out of Sean Grigg. He was a dominant player in that second quarter, along with Brett Delidio. Hampson was excellent, and Dusty. If you don't stop Dusty, you can't win the game. Sean Grigg, he's having a terrific year, and he's near on BOG at the moment.
Saints will be keen to see if they can sneak the first couple of goals. They must stay in touch. Second half set to get underway. Longer and Hampson. Hampson did some good work up in the forward line in that first half. Longer sneaks out the back door. The Saints through Stephen. Get the hand pass. Well, it wasn't a good one for Webster, but he's able to recover and push it wider towards Robertson, who kicks up towards the 50, and that's going to be okay. The mark is taken by Eli Templeton, spearing it in towards the forward line, but a good mark by guess who in defence.
It's well read by him there, Sandy.
He's been fantastic all year, Rance.
He's able to turn his head back, see where the kicker was, not worry about Bruce, and go for the ball.
Down the line he goes. Marich was a target, but in the end just tried to push it out the back door. It almost worked. Here's Geary taking from Templeton. Short passing again to Dunstan, who finds Montagna, but that's a poor kick by Joey.
That kick needed to go long to the top of the goal square. Riewoldt led hard to the ball, created a big space behind where Bruce would have been one-on-one.
Really unlike him too, as Hurley recovers. Kicks towards the half-forward line. Waiting down is Brandon Ellis. Tries to get through some heavy traffic. Vlosten lends support. Gets the hand pass out wide. Hurley's been running, and he's still running. They're inside 50 now. Big pack of players. A lot of Saints going up. Martin's in the thick of things. Brings down Jaron Geary. And the umpire very quick to come in and take control.
It's an area they've got to sort out, Brownie, and sort out in a hurry, St Kilda. Those entries inside forward 50. They've got 3 tools. They're a little bit Riewoldt-centric at the moment.
Snap going across the face of goal. How easy is that? As Ben Lennon kicks his second goal, and a dream start for the Tigers in this second half.
And he acknowledges Brett Delidio. It was a superb kick to the top of the square. It was a nice clearance for them. Not sure who got the first tap. Whether it be Hampson or not, it doesn't matter. It was just a great get. Really polished team football.
Yeah, they'd be disappointed. To be able to pop up with this much space inside forward 50 here, Ben Lennon, he'd be counting his lucky stars, that's for sure. And I think Dempster is looking back. They're saying who was manning up on who there. I think it may have been the St Kilda forwards that didn't push down far enough so the defenders could pick up tightly for St Kilda.
So the Tigers now have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals kicked from quarter time. So it's been a dominating 35 minutes or so in this game, and the Tigers are now starting to show why they are real contenders in season 2015, and while the Saints are building for future seasons. And forward they go again, the Saints. Up they go, Big Ivan. Marriage crashes the pack. Lurking there was Cochin. It was a good tackle, but the Saints now can get the ball away up towards the wing position. It goes Chaplin, just pushes Riewoldt underneath the ball. Coming through was Rance, crashing through. And the ball goes over the line out of bounds. Bruce was coming through with lethal intent.
Poor old Grimesy was going to cop another one.
Cop another one. It's the old, what did Lou used to say? He'd be eating his dinner off the mantelpiece. Sandy will be that sore. He won't be able to sit down.
Oh, dear. Here's the throw in.
I am reminiscing.
You are, but it's great stuff. Hampson, Martin, the old push away. The big fend off. Inside 50 once again. Chopped off by Dylan Roberton.
Marked up here. That's it, Trent. Yo. Yep.
He goes short. To Weller. Oh, it's a poor kick. Marriage again. Poole is screaming for it. Marriage ignores him, tends to go the other way to Miles. Got to get his kick quickly. He does eventually, but it's a poor disposal, and it goes straight back to Roberton.
And looking back, he's got to go forward. That's where the numbers are.
Jared, you picked one early on. Martin was really getting on top, and you called for a harder tag. That's come up, has it?
Mav Weller was side by side of that last stoppage. He was on the end of a don't argue from Dusty. And I think if he stays there, he'll get a few more.
Stephen De Geary is still on the defensive side of centre. He comes laterally to Roberton.
Now, whether or not it was just at that stoppage or it's a call for the entirety of the game, we'll wait and see how it unfolds.
Dunstan, centering kick is a good one, and Templeton takes a fine mark directly in front. Goals have been like diamonds, I'm afraid, for the Saints so far in this game, managing just 3.
That was a good kick though, Sandy. So quite often you don't want the ball to be dropping there outside 40 metres. If that doesn't, if the mark's not tugging there, it's an easy turnover for Richmond. They go straight down the other end, kick a goal. So good pass.
So good to see Eli back in the Saints side. Can he cap this passage of play with a goal? He can't. He started at left, and that's where it remained.
Was getting closer, Sandy.
Slowly.
First shot went out of bounds.
It could be a bit quicker, that'd be fine.
So Bashahuli plays on and kicks out towards Big Sean Hampson, who gets across, used his body well, now has to do it at ground level. The ball goes over the line out of bounds with Geary for a throw-in, half-forward flank for the St Kilda side. Only 1 goal in that second term, came at the 10-minute mark to Mav Weller, who kicked the goal before that at the 17.5-minute mark of the first term.
There's that critical match-up they were speaking about there. He's got off the chain a bit, Dustin Martin, hasn't he, there?
Yes, yeah. And Hampson gets the free kick now. Hunt. Fingernail on it. He goes and gets it. So a little bit of poise in the back line, even under a fair bit of pressure there. They've been able to get the ball out nicely, and that's a sign of a good team. So Ellis has it at half-back flank.
I think this is a sign of the times with Richmond. They've really matured this year. They're more slower, methodical ball use down the ground, save them defensively, not committing the turnovers of the past.
And they back themselves in, don't they, Kingy? When there is a mistake, in the old days they would panic and point fingers and just turn around and not know what's going on. Now they know, right, we're good enough. Somebody will make the second effort, hold up the structure and go again.
I really like the way they've, to use Ken Hinckley's term, handled the heat in the midfield, Jared. They've only conceded 7 behinds in mid-zone turnovers, and that's just been St Kilda's game plan all year.
I think coupled with that, they've actually lost clearances, and yet you wouldn't know it watching the game and the flow of the ball. And here he is again, the one-on-one specialist.
He's in there, Looney, reefing the ball out. It was good play by Jack Riewoldt. I wish the umpire had to let that one go a bit. There was a good battle going on, and little bit of aftermath too.
And you can see there Jaron Geary takes him if he goes to full forward, and they've put Mav Weller on him at the stoppages through midfield.
All right, so let's see what they do going forward, whether or not Dustin Martin stays in the forward line or gets back into the midfield where he's been a dominant force today. In the meantime, it's St.Kilda with the ball as Stephen. Advantage is paid. The free kick was against Koch, and you could see that off the ball. He was holding on to Nunes, just made him earn the kick. As Nick Riewoldt bombs it long up towards the half-forward flank position. Gilbert from behind at the back of the pack, though. It's picked up by Batchelor. Batchelor, beautiful transferal of play to the outer side of the ground, and they're just going well at the moment, the Tigers, as McIntosh looks up the centre corridor. Big Ivan Maric.
They're really doing it well at the present time. They've got the games on their terms.
This to play. They just move it forward, as I say, methodically. They'll just look for that 15, 20-metre pass, the obvious one. They don't bite off more than they can chew.
Chaplin's out here too.
There's Vlosten. Chaplin 40 metres away, and he's got him.
Keeps shifting the defence. Really wears the defence out, having to shift all the time.
Centering ball in towards Hampson. Couldn't take it cleanly. It matters not. There's a snap at goal, but it's wide by McDonough and through from behind.
Had plenty of time. He would be regretting that one.
61 plays 27. As Montagna finds Nunes.
He's got nowhere to go though, so he'll probably end up having to go all the way back around.
He's got to wait for someone to make positions. It's ambitious. Savage had the pressure right on him. McCartan was at the back. Proppy hand pass finishes over the boundary line with Chaplin. Let's go down to Kingy.
Just wonder what has happened to their game today. If you look at St Kilda across the course of the year, they've been the most potent at punishing a midfield turnover. Better than Hawthorn, which I think is a surprising stat for most, but that'll serve them well going forward. Their game plan is in order, but it's not working as effectively today.
Gilbert was third man up. Finishes with Lennon, who goes across the face. Here's Chaplin. Long and low, straight down the stomach towards Martin again. Martin's working feverishly. Fisher's on top of him. Dustin gets it out. Jack tried to toe poke but had an airy. Who can do something? Chris Newman. He likes kicking goals. We saw that today. So too does Maric. Big Ivan. Thank you very much. Maric gets his first, and the Tigers are romping away here at Etihad.
They are romping away, Sandy. Romping away, sorry. Maric. He's fantastic, this big fella. He follows up at ground level. Gives them so much confidence, the smaller midfielders for Richmond. Just see this, just a nice little cherry on top. You don't expect this from the ruckman, that's for sure. Very excited. He's real spiritual, probably spiritual leader, or one of their spiritual leaders of the club, that's for sure. All these players get a boost when he's out there. Bit of dancing work there.
And well done to the goal umpire. One of the things you get robbed of if you go to the review is the big roar when he signals a goal. So everybody anticipated it, and the yellow and black army got on board.
He's got to work on that celebration, though. That was a really poor celebration for a ruckman.
Well, he's a big soccer fan, and I was in the lift going down to speak to the Riewoldt girls before, and all the AS Roma players were down there, guys, enjoying the game, talking about no turnover, they were saying. Fast game, hard. Which it certainly wasn't last night.
There's been a little bit of that acting, though, earlier on, though, Eddie. Similar to the soccer acting.
Anyway, ball goes to the bender. High tackle, says the umpire, so Armitage will get the free. 18th disposal coming up for David Armitage.
I think the soccer players get a real appreciation of just how good of an athlete's required to play this great game, Eddie.
Well, the first thing they look at, of course, Johnny, was the size of the ground. That's the first thing that people realise, is just how big this ground, or pitch, as they like to say, the soccer aficionados, and some of the greatest soccer players in town in Melbourne this weekend. As the ball comes out to Basher Hooley. A little bit of a handball over the top. Hunt holds it, waits. Basher up the line. Did well in the end, hoiked it up.
Free kick, took the front spot.
Yep. So Gilbert now with the handball going. The Saints go forward.
With a long kick down towards Weller, who got underneath it, and it was hammered over the back by Grimes eventually.
Just has not worked, that kick inside forward 50 for St Kilda. Haven't been able to spot up a target and give themselves enough shots at goal.
They haven't been able to launch from close enough, have they? That kick again was from 80 metres out, lands at about 40. You want it to be landing about 15, 20 metres out from goal.
Hampson wins it. Alice pulled off the ball, taken by Armour, just snapped by Armour. Is good, and finally they get their fourth, and David Armitage gets his first. 49-33, but they trailed badly. They're down by 34 points. The Tigers are 10-7.
The soccer boys will be really confused with this one, Eddie. They'll be asking, where's the goalkeeper?
Exactly.
How'd that get through?
Yeah, it was a good play there by the St Kilda players. That Eli Templeton was able to keep Rance out of that goal square position. Just dragged him out far enough. Rance had to stay with him. Well done. Good finish. But that's the problem. They've had to scrounge goals, haven't they, Jared?
They have. There hasn't been any of the method that we've seen when the Saints have been at their best and winning some games. They're a young side. They're going to float up and down, but I think they'd be really disappointed with where this game's at the present time.
Armitage up to 19 disposals. Only Jack Stephen has more for the Saints with 21. He's lurking again, but Armo comes away with it. Gets claimed by Chris Newman, loses the football. Pushed away from him initially. Stephen tried to get it out. They're working hard. Jimmy Webster in there as well. The Tigers have got it locked up, and we've got to stop it.
And we know they're playing a side that is far better than them on the ladder, but this is a side without three of their players in the forward line, and Dusty Martin has got himself a bit of an injury from that. Coming in, they would have had far greater hopes than what the scoreboard says at the moment.
Yeah, but that's a sign, I think, of a good side, isn't it, for the Tigers, that they've got some good depth, and also that now they can change game plans, boys, and that's always the great thing when you've got a side that can adapt.
Sign of experience, Eddie. Yeah. Being able to change with the tempo of the game, no doubt about that. But these are the games that Richmond potentially had problems with. We saw a couple of weeks ago, GWS had them on the ropes at three-quarter time, so this would have been a danger game coming in, that's for sure.
And going into the game today, Richmond with a percentage of 112.03, so, you know, early to be talking about percentage, but it would help today if they get the 4 points and a bit of a boost in that area. Stephen says, no, let's fight a bit harder than that, and he goes out to Riewoldt, who's been great. The lead comes from Bruce. He puts it out in front of him. The kick just a little bit too far out. Bruce dragged off the ball there by Rance. Umpire said no, just subtle enough. Diving in on top of it now, Rance gets a second go, and this time the umpire says no, that wasn't subtle enough, and you'll get the free kick.
It was great to watch that off camera and see Josh Bruce take off for about a 100-metre lead. Rance was able to go with him there. They're going from side to side, covering a lot of territory here. Rance is one of the few blokes that can keep up with Bruce in the competition.
And he was sore after the tackle and hoiked it over the line out of bounds.
He was probably buggered too, Ed.
Yeah. And he wasn't. He only took one step. He didn't have three in him, I don't think. There, Brad.
Have a look at him, he's blowing. Blowing the trees down at the moment.
So Farron Ray on the outer side. Long to a big pack of players. Josh Bruce was the man he was targeting, but pushed away over the line.
There's that matchup, Bruce Rance.
Saints have got Melbourne next week, then Port, Fremantle and North. A tough road. Hampson again. Doesn't get any easier for Richmond. They've got Fremantle next week. Savage affects the hand pass. That's going to be okay to Goddard. And the youngster's going to get another opportunity. He's a left footer. He spears it in towards the middle and finds Fisher, who's going to have to be quick. He is now. Now Bruce again is the target. Nunes is at the back. Doesn't get an opportunity to get boot to ball, and it's Hampson who gives the hand pass away to a teammate in Lambert. And for the moment, they're out of trouble once again as Cochin takes the mark.
Bruce has had a fantastic year, but at the moment he needs to be dragging Rance away from it. They're kicking to one-on-ones. He hasn't won one of those yet. He hasn't had a shot on the goal. And it really is just rebound footy for the Tigers at the present moment.
Grimes to Rance to Newman.
Well, Bruce's strength is really jumping at the footy, jumping high, and Rance is quite suited to that. The only time we've seen Rance beaten this year is a genuine one-on-one where the forward's got his feet planted on the ground.
Look at the strength of Martin in that encounter.
Much like that, Sandy.
Yes.
It's a perfect example.
Kingy, I remember earlier in the season we were talking about the fact that the Tigers had gone away from using this bloke in the forward half.
Oh, an opportunity here. Look at that for a snap. Was it touched? No, it wasn't. Oh, golly, and he's done it again. That's three Lennon's kicked one, and the Tigers have stretched their lead.
Yeah, Dustin Martinez, last year, he was, I think, in the top 3 one-on-one players in the game, and he was certainly inside forward 50, almost unstoppable, and this is the reason why. You see him there. He is just an absolute star one-on-one, and the Tigers are a better side for the fact that they've pushed Delidio and Cochin and Dustin Martin into that goal square at various stages over the last few months.
Well, he's a big bull. He's a really tough matchup because he is so big and strong, Martin, that you need to play a bigger defender on him. But of course, when the ball hits the ground, that defender's not going to be nimble enough to be able to go with Dustin Martin.
Lennon came into this game with 2 career goals. He's kicked 3 so far today.
Not even Lennon would imagine that.
No.
Magnificent.
Am I too young?
Yes, you are.
Sorry, boss.
One of the great songs of all time.
Anyway, as Gilbert gets his pants pulled down, figuratively and literally in that contest. Now the ball in dispute. Hurley and the Tigers run, and Cochin gets out, and Big Marich is running to the square. Cochin just to look up, he kicks. Big Ivan's out there, so to Delidio. Here's Ivan. Oh, he didn't quite get there in the end.
One of the great ruckman runs if you had to end up with that.
It was indeed.
Would have been shades of Harry Madden.
Harry Madden had it Waverley that time. Jurassic Park 2.
So you remember that, Brownie?
That's right.
Yeah. You don't remember John Lennon?
I'm going to have to go deep into the archives here, Sandy. I'll be about 3 when that happened.
I've gone from 77 to 1979 now. We're just moving up as we go.
I was born in 81, Ed.
McIntosh. Here's Dunstan. Mocker.
We'll find some rap artist for you, Brownie.
MC Hammers next.
2010 or 50 cents or whatever it is. 50 new pence. Let's get back to the game. And Paddy McCartan takes the mark for the Saints at half-back.
He'd file for bankruptcy during the week, 50 cents.
Yeah, he's only got a couple of $100 million stashed away. Anyway, we won't go there. Robin.
He's down to 10.5 cents in the dollar.
Very good. Dempster bounced his way out of the back pocket. Comes inboard. Puts a bit of pressure on Billy Longer, but he takes the mark.
He did well. They don't need to give up another soft goal at the moment. It's a real lesson that the Tigers are giving the Saints. We came here thinking the Saints were a genuine chance.
That's it, Anthony.
And yet so far, the Tigers are just looking like a side maturing perfectly to have a genuine assault on the flag.
Nunes finding Riewoldt, who's thinking about going backwards, and he does. Nothing up forward for him, so back to Dempster from whence it came, and Longer's on the outer side. Fisher's on the outer side. He comes into the middle. Oh, that's dangerous. Geary's at the back. He may get them out of trouble. He hasn't yet, and now they've lost it. Tigers have the numbers. Vlauston had the football. Now Hurley's got it. Cochin's loose again. Geary's giving chase, but he's 10 metres away. Cochin wants to go. Pops it over, or tried to pop it over the top, popped it straight into the arms of Geary, who in turn gives it straight to Hurley.
Looks like the Saints are trying to hit the corridor target in this quarter.
Yeah.
They haven't done it much this season, but it has broken down.
McDonough's kick inside 50. There's a good one. Delidio keeps his feet, gives the handball out. Ellis could have had the shot, should have had the shot. He was trying to give one off to Jack, I reckon, for the big day. Instead, he should have put it 15 rows back over the goal umpire's hat. The kick inside. Chance now for Templeton, whose kicking hasn't been great today, and that one is a good example of it because he had players leading up to him, including that man Nick Riewoldt, who had to run a mile back in the
Got to use the link up there, Ed.
Yep.
Got to use the short into half forward. That's been their problem, St. Kilda.
So Hunt just runs out, and there's loose men everywhere. Hampson's one of them. Now Jack says, put it up in the air for me. Ivan says, put it up in the air for me. And Ivan's actually got out wide. He's decided to go short with the kick.
Smart, though. Outnumbered here. St. Kilda have got a lot of numbers back. That's why they're going slow.
Now, Delidio could almost kick this. He's going to run right up and have a go. He's booted it long and strong. It'll just drop short. Free kick. Jack's got the free.
It's been working very hard, Ed. Very, very hard. He's able to... This has been the strength of his game this year. He gets up the ground, works really hard, then turns back to goal and gets in behind the defender. We'll see on the replay after he kicks this goal, hopefully.
Let's see. He's just got the free kick outside the goal square, so he has to kick around the body. Now, from here, again, he's going to go for the Gaelic football hook, if you like. The Tiger crowd behind him, they love the free kick. They want the goal. They desperately want the goal. They want Jack on the scorebook, and they get it. Jack Riewoldt gets his second of the day. He kicked a beauty after the siren at halftime, and Jack's got his second, and the Tigers are now careering away here. They're 46 points up, and I reckon they'll be thinking 10-goal win here is par.
Yeah, exactly right. Just seeing there, we got him behind him, didn't he? So
did.
the defender loses sight of where the ball is. Sam Fisher makes a reckless mistake.
Yeah, and I think you described it well. It's pretty reckless, and it's sort of reflective of where the Saints are at the present time. They're really just holding on, and they're getting a nice old spanking and a lesson from the Tigers.
In terms of the snap goal, you don't mind the guy snapping from that side. Yeah, tried to snap when he was on the other side. We see the live ladder there.
There's Richmond's percentage, Brown. He's 112.
Yeah, they'll be hoping to head towards Sydney's percentage, won't they? 6% needed.
Certainly looking to build on it as they go charging forward again. Big pack of players. It was touched. Robertson affected a tackle, or at least tried to. Take it to the line as Lambert. He's kept it in play. Did remarkably well, but handballed straight to Gilbert, who's kicked up towards Bruce, who copped a bit of a nudge from Rance. It opens the door for Taylor Hunt. Hunt to Hooley. Look out, Basher. He gets it back to Hunt. So the back pedal to Batchelor, who can swing to Chaplin, and he does.
Their backline, Brownie, is working like a machine at the moment.
Yeah, it's going well. And Batchelor's one we haven't spoken about. He's had a pretty good season as well, Jared. Really good last month.
Hunt has it now. Rance is 50 metres to his right, but he ignored him. And just goes to McIntosh, who's on the outer wing. 23.5 minutes gone in this third quarter, and the Tigers extending their lead. Hampson was a mighty flyer. The Cochin hand pass is good, but the kick is poor, and it goes out of bounds on the floor.
I think the Saints fans are desperate to see Paddy McCartan kick his first goal in AFL football. That's what they're wanting now, to see the next wave of kids, this elite talent, really take control of hopefully 5 or 10 minutes of the last quarter.
Savage brings it back in. Yes, they would like it, Kingy. There's no doubt about that. He finds Gilbert. But goals have been very hard to come by. Just 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 1 in the third so far. Armitage lays a good tackle, but the ball spills to Miles. Anthony Miles wants Brandon Ellis, and he's got him. Look at the players streaming past. Get out of my way, says Dustin. Leave me alone. So he goes back to Ellis once again, who chips in towards the pocket, and Riewoldt 1 grab, 2 grabs, and he's got it.
Nice little mismatch there on Shane Savage. Yeah. Licking his lips there, Jack, when he saw Shane roll back onto him. It's a good mark still in the end.
Savage 186 and Jack 195.
Just doesn't stop working, this bloke. He can really cash in here in the second half, Jack Riewoldt, because of his work rate in the first half. Didn't hit the scoreboard much, but this is where he'll get rewarded.
3 last week, going for his 3rd this week. Not a severe angle for Jack. He leans back on that ball. Started it right, and that's where it stayed.
So 2 goals, 3 to Jack Riewoldt, Sandy.
Right, out of 12-8.
Robertson and fullback for the Saints. With 1:48 on the clock, Robertson runs in and out of trouble, gets a bit of distance, and then boots it right up the middle of the ground, but it's going to come straight back because Rance read that beautifully and then took the mark. 1 grab, beautiful stuff. Loston bangs it in. Here we go. Delidio at the back. Just again, read it off the boot. And that's indicative of a player who can actually play. There's plenty of blokes out there who can be cannon fodder, but there's blokes who read it off the boot. They almost hear it like a tennis player hears the ball off the racket, and then he runs around on the left boot and kicks it straight through for his 3rd goal. Magnificent stuff by Delidio.
Just to make the point that you need to be double-sided on your skills, but he has been a star for a long time, Delidio, and he's really putting on a show today. But
look at this, guys.
This is probably pitches we didn't think would be out of order today. He was struggling under an injury cloud coming in, and it doesn't surprise that he's hobbling around at half-time.
Well, you can see him in before the game. You know, he's really crook. Obviously, he probably wouldn't have played in this game. It wasn't after Maddie, but I'm glad he played. Everyone's glad that Nick Riewoldt played, and he's been serviceable today. He's tried his hardest. He's still led really hard. He deserves to be out there, Nick Riewoldt.
So just on a minute remaining in this third term. Can the Saints get something before three-quarter time? They've got the opportunity through Stephen of going forward. It's a high ball. It's inside 50. Chaplin chops it off. He was taken high in the process, so either or he's got the footy.
It's a point in time, though, Brownie, I think, where you've got to consider your short-term future, and he's only got a short-term future in some respects. You don't want to see him get a major tear of that, which compromises the next 12 months.
I would have thought there'd be pretty solid discussion at three-quarter time, Jared, that's for sure, about whether he comes off.
McDonough to Miles. Anthony Miles, penetrating hand pass to Newman. Here they go again. A worm-burning pass, just a little too low on that occasion. And the Saints' defence combined to get it to Savage.
And boys, it's not the ground to be playing on with a calf injury either. Hard ground.
Yeah.
Stephen racking up yet another possession to Bruce, off to Armitage. To Riewoldt.
It was a good kick.
Mentioned Stephen, he's had 26 disposals. Armitage has had 22. And Nick Riewoldt is going to try and put one through after the siren.
Come on, Nick, put it through.
He's going to be kicking from 50. A slight angle, but certainly not severe. And looking to kick his 640th career goal. His first for the day. He's had a couple of shots, pulling to the left earlier in the day and doing the same thing again today. So another behind goes on the board. It is three-quarter time, and it is Richmond in total command. 13-8-86, St.Kilda a 4-10-34. Welcome back to Etihad Stadium. Richmond in total control. They've stretched their lead to 52 points at three-quarter time. And that young man has 3 goals. He's having a most enjoyable day. Delidio finishes it off in front of goal. He too has been an absolute star. And the young Saints are finding they're going pretty tough at three-quarter time. Richmond are 13-8-86. They're leading St Kilda 4 goals 10-34. So the Tigers marching, they hope, no doubt, towards another finals campaign. They had one last year. It's interesting, gentlemen, to look at the progression of this football club under that man, Damien Hardwick, and it's all heading for him, Jared and Brownie, in the right direction.
Well, it's been a very concerted approach with their list build, that's for sure. They've kept all their first-round picks. They haven't given one away in the last decade or so. Built nicely. They've obviously got some fantastic superstars on the side, which will lead them towards a flag potentially.
And Jared, I suppose the footy world for a long time have laughed at Richmond sort of being 3 years into a 5-year plan for 30 years, and that shows a bit of patience and reward, and backing in Damien Hardwick is starting to pay dividends for this Richmond lineup.
Yep, if you get your first picks right, you recruit wisely, you can do it with some patience, and you're spot on. David King.
Well, I think they've matured, Jared, on field as well as off. They have shown great leadership off field, but they were 3-10 halfway through last season, and the Wolves are at the door. And I think when you look at the form of Riewoldt, the development of Rance and their other leaders, I think they learnt the most out of 2014 of any club in the competition. These standards have held them in good stead this year.
And what we're seeing today is that they've got some depth, because they've got 3 of their starting lineup out, and there's 2 or 3 others that could easily come in. Their back line is really solid at the present time, and in that second quarter, that third quarter, they just totally dominated.
And Ben Lennon's one of those players who's come in today, gone forward, kicked 3 goals.
They're looking for a small forward, Ed, so he's put his hand up, that's for sure.
And Hampson's another one who's come in recent times, and he got that ball out of the centre beautifully. Started it off anyway. Now the handball comes out, which was good play there by Goddard, who's the debutant for St Kilda. So the scoreboard not great for the Saints, but there are some things that they'll be pretty happy with today.
Great courage.
Yeah, Savage came through as well, so well done to both players. You know that's Dustin Martin, because the arm went out first and the opponent went backwards at a rate of knots, and in he goes again, tries to knock it out. Montagna gets the ball going. Now Longer gets it going back to Montagna. Here's a chance for the Saints. It comes out to Bruce, pushed in the back as he got his kick. Umpire said play on. Nick Riewoldt spins around and kicks the goal. Fantastic stuff for the Riewoldts. Jack at one end has kicked 3. Nick's now on the scoreboard, and the entire crowd here stand as one in this game for Maddie, and congratulate one of the greats of the game on what is an emotional day for the Riewoldt family, but for the wider footy community as well. It was a ripping goal. Well done to Nick Riewoldt. Fantastic stuff.
Showed a good turn of foot there too, Eddie. So
Just wonderful here. What a wonderful cause this is today. And if you want to donate, www.mrv, that's Maddie Riewoldt, .org.au, or go to Maddie on 0437 371 371. The attendance today, we believe, is at 46,000, which is the biggest crowd in it Eddie had this year for a game of footy. Last year was 32,000, so the public really getting behind this magnificent day and cause. Well done to the Riewoldt family.
Gee, that's fantastic, isn't it? That crowd of 46,000. So
it's great. It's touched everyone, though. Like, to watch that package we put together pre-game, I had hairs in the back of my neck.
Yeah, it was
standing
brilliant.
up.
Here's Robertson. I'm glad you added the standing up part because I knew you had the hairs on the back of your neck, Brownie. Grimes.
Need a bit of a trim.
Good interception by Savage. He goes charging into the open goal, and there's another one. 2 in a row for the Saints. The Savage gets his first.
And the coach's not happy. He's about the 1%ers right now. The cross, the kick inside was... It's just got to get better if you're going to win premierships. They just can't happen, and that's excellent work by Savage. So a good start by the Saints in this final term. A couple of mistakes by the Tigers, and they've capitalised on them. And he finished it off really well.
And the Tigers would certainly be aware of their percentage. Standing at around 112, they certainly don't want to open the door for the Saints to cut that, because percentage is no doubt going to play a part as we head towards September.
So back in the centre, 2 quick goals to the Saints in the opening 2 and a bit minutes of this final term. It's Big Hampson, though, for the Tigers, who thumps it long. Ivan searching, goes for the high-flying mark, brings it to ground, but it's picked up for the Saints by Geary. Geary goes out to the outer side. Armitage, a good little handball, but Geary left it behind. And in goes the Tigers through McDonough to take it to the boundary line. Throw in, half-forward flank for the Tigers.
He's Loney, subbed out at 3/4 time. Sinclair comes on, who's an impressive player himself.
Yep.
Just didn't work for Loney today. Had a couple of chances.
They kicked one out of bounds and one behind Jack Loney today, and a good tackle is applied. Montagna brings the ball into the centre of the ground. Farron Ray looks up, not much on. He decides to go to the one-on-one rather than go wide, and it was the wrong call. Grimes, however, his second turnover kick of the quarter undoes his good work. Grigg was under all sorts there. Armitage tries to get it out. Ray, good hands. It spills out wide. Picked up there by Dunstan. Gets the handball going now to Templeton. And the ball goes out along. Was it off the boot? No, umpire said it was along the ground throw-in.
We saw Dylan Grimes there just before, Eddie, and he's been one of the positives for the Richmond defence, because potentially they were going to be have a lack of small defenders, but Grimes can play on the taller guys, but he also play on those real dangerous small forwards. He's shown that again today. St Kilda got quite a few small forwards.
Marich slung to the ground, but he won't let go of the footy. Sam Gilbert finally picking himself up. The biggest margin was 52 points. It's currently 40 in favour of the Tigers. A couple of quick goals to the Saints as they go to Riewoldt. He's going to get a free kick here.
There's good clearance from Armitage and a good kick. It was right to the advantage of his captain.
He goes to the top of the square. Bruce was his target. Savage is there. He's dangerous. Templeton is there also. They're lurking. And a free kick as Paddy McCartan goes to ground. But the Tigers getting a free kick for in the back. So Rance to relieve the pressure.
Good experience for young Paddy McCartan playing on Alex Rance. We'll learn a lot out of this one today.
Certainly a huge challenge, an early game. Here's Jack Newnes hugging the boundary line, but that's okay. Finding Farron Ray. He's going to go back and have a shot. Ray playing just his 6th game for the season. Hasn't scored this year. He's in the veteran class, 203rd game.
I saw in the box there just how excellent that kick was under tight constriction.
Gives himself a long run up, Ray, and it's a good looking kick. Just one behind. Gave it a burst as the Tigers quickly bring it into Ellis, who's tucked in the pocket. Has a look down the line. Grimes.
I think what he would have done also, Paddy McCartan, working and looking at the way that Riewoldt and Josh Bruce worked it. He needs a bigger tank, and it may take a year or 2 or 3 to build, but it's the weakness in his game. But this game is now all about seconds and third and fourth efforts.
And that can take 2 or 3 pre-seasons, Jared, to really get hardened and conditioned and really become aware of it. But he's got the best mentor anyone could ever ask for, Nick Riewoldt, when it comes to work rate.
On the throw up, Dunson gets the handball going. Nunes again over the top. They're starting to run hard down the Saints. Stephen with a bomb to the goal square. Who's back there? Oh, good play. Ooh.
They're working terrifically at the moment, the Tigers. They had a couple of players being held out. Batchelor came across and took the intercept mark.
Yeah, Jake Batchelor gives it off to Rance, who says just kick it out of here. And Batchelor just limping up the ground here, heading towards the boundary line.
Got the short in the hole.
In the meantime, it's Fisher who kicks inside the centre corridor, and the Saints are on the attack again.
Robertson goes long, straight down the middle virtually. He's got a player at the back there in Nunes who gives it to Riewoldt. This will test the calf. Onto the left boot, he pulls it. The centre kick is an absolute beauty. Finds its mark in the little sub who came on in Jackie Sinclair, and he's going to go back and hopefully kick a goal from directly in front, 40 out.
Nice little left foot mongrel, that one.
Yeah, it floated beautifully.
It did.
Just on serious kicks, though, they need to get better kicking out of Dylan Robertson. He's ball off the half-back line. You've got to get accuracy, and it's an area he needs to address.
He's a goal kicker, Jack Sinclair. He's kicked 14 for the season. He should not miss being straight in front, and, well, you wrap him up, and that's what happens.
He was all over the shop there, wasn't he?
Jesus.
Just sneaking in from behind.
Slowed him right down there, Sandy.
I did.
Yeah, he's 5th on the Saints scoreboard impact list. And as Sandy said, 14 goals, so he's 14-6 now.
It's been 36 possessions to 13 in this term. So the Saints are on top.
Miles has been busy once again. McIntosh.
And that percentage you talked about, Ed, Damien Hardwick will want the cue to be taken back out of the rack.
Yeah.
In fact, that's where it's been placed.
Yep. They've been inconsistent in quarters, haven't they, the last few weeks, Jared?
They have. They were really poor for 3 quarters a couple of weeks ago against the GWS, then turned it on.
Yeah, had a poor quarter last week against Carlton, especially when Shane Edwards went off. There's the red vest going to.
And the runner's going out right now.
He's hovering. There's nothing worse than coming to the boundary. No one knows who it's for yet. Johnny Vickery is hiding it behind his back at the moment. He's not giving away anything.
Blokes everywhere running to different positions. No one wants to come off.
We'll keep an eye on it. Here's the throw in. Hampson jostling for front spot.
Jared, is that another rule we have to get rid of?
Well, I think there's a few ahead of that one, Ed.
No, we can bundle them all together.
Package deal.
Yeah.
As it's seen over the line safely once again. Jimmy Webster. So he's itching for a run, is Gordon. He's played 8 games so far this season. But he's very anxious to get on. Martin and Ellis combine. Here's Miles again. Little chip towards the 50. Savage. Did he push him in the back? Well,
looked like it.
Umpire said no, so Robertson goes out wide. That's going to be okay. Dunstan gives it away to Webster. To left half forward. Weller, the race is on with Vlosten. Weller wins this one. Vlosten chases. Weller gets away and spears it into Riewoldt.
That's a great kick from Matt Weller.
And he plays on. He's got Montagna lurking laterally, slightly closer to goal and almost directly in front.
It's amazing what pressure does, isn't it? Tigers drop it off by 5%. All of a sudden, St Kilda can play the game that they've trained for. And they get a chance to kick successive goals.
So let's see if Montagna can join the list. Usually pretty accurate. And that's no exception. Montagna gets his first. And the Saints starting to put some respectability onto the scoreboard. They move to 7-12-54. They're trailing by 32 points. Richmond are 13-8-86. But they did trail at one stage by 52.
You see there in that footage there's no Richmond defenders dropping off, trying to block up the holes, not looking after each other, just sloppiness there, allowing Montagna to run down there. So the accountability across the board has dropped off, and it only takes that 5% of intensity. King.
They've allowed too much class involvement today, St Kilda. They'll be disappointed to see at the top of the score involvement chart Brett Delidio and Dustin Martin, Jack Riewoldt up there as well. They're the class of the Richmond team. 26 disposals for Martin, 23 for Delidio, and most of those have been in the forward half of the ground as Dustin does it again out of the middle.
3 goals this quarter there to the Saints. As Sandy said, a little bit of respectability. Tigers now starting a little bit angry as the ball's kicked out wide from Sinclair, who, as Sandy mentioned, was the sub. Now they bring the ball out, and they're on the broadcast side of the ground as they come out to Montagna. Montagna looks up. He has Dunstan up the ground, decides to go to his mate Riewoldt. They're waxing these two off hands. It's picked up by Vlosten, who's been good today. Cochin under pressure, threw it out. Umpire said play on. Here's a chance for Gilbert. Gilbert looks up, little short pass to Armitage is good. The Saints can get their 4th in 12 minutes. Plenty of Saints lined up here, and McCartan's going to get his shot at goal for his first in football. Well, Kingy, you said this is a big moment for the young man. Here it comes. So Paddy McCartan lining up for goal.
Not bad first game, 46,000, Ed. You kicked this one, the roar from the crowd.
So his first goal coming up, the boy from St Joseph's in Geelong from the under-18s. Comes in and kicks and gets his first goal. What a moment for the boom recruit for St Kilda. And they come from everywhere to congratulate the young man. 19 years of age. He's kicked 12-7 in the reserves this year, but he gets his first major.
He's not going to the bench, is he?
He is.
Surely not.
He is.
And he's coming off. Geez, you'd stay there, wouldn't you? He gets a big hug.
What a nice touch, though. He started running off, then Nick Riewoldt yelled at him. He turned around, came back. Nick gave him a hug, and now he's off.
Yeah.
Lovely touch.
Jono, what was your first goal like, mate?
It took me about 10 games to get to it, Ed. So it took me about 3 games to get my first touch, let alone my first goal. But it's a very exciting feeling. I think I kicked against Hawthorn one night, and it's obviously you feel like you belong out there, and he'll be wrapped. Obviously, bigger and better things for the kid to come.
No doubt. Bruce having a run on the ball for St Kilda.
Jared, what was yours like, mate? What'd you do?
Mine was a relief. I kicked 6 points in a row before I got my first goal.
Certainly didn't run to the bench, though, after kicking the first goal, Ed.
Jared did a lap behind him.
Jared wouldn't have known where the bench was.
I got dragged. I think that's well known.
Yeah, well, Ellingworth, was it?
That was it.
That's it, yeah. Weak as well.
Oh, dear. Shades of yesterday. Here go the Saints again, down towards the 50, into a pretty vacant area as far as the St Kilda side were concerned. Not as far as Rance and co matter, however. The Tigers steam out of trouble once again through Lennon, up towards centre wing. Delidio has it. 14 and a half gone, final term. Delidio finds Martin, the old firm combining for the Tigers.
It's impossible to believe that he was 20 metres on his own. What a
look at the kick. Look at the kick. Jack Riewoldt's got to beat a couple. He tries to tap it off. It's sung it off the ground. Is it there by the big man Maddie? Touched and one behind. Ivan will be shattered at that.
We would have loved to have got his second for the day, Ivan.
Here's the kick by Montagna, finding Weller. Thought about the man going past, but only momentarily. That was Webster. Instead, he goes back to Montagna, and they reload.
Well, this is a good effort by the Saints. No doubt Alan Richardson's there. Come on, boys, let's win the last quarter. And win it they are. They're actually flogging the Tigers in this last term. And Damien Hardwick won't be happy at all with a big live kill lined up. They've kicked the first 4, and there's another kick at goal coming up to Bruce. In the back. And the Saints fans have come alive here.
They haven't dropped off their work rate, the St Kilda, especially their forwards. Eddie, they've worked really hard, pushed hard there, none more so than Bruce. He ran about 60 or 70 metres to get to that ball.
So Josh Bruce, who hasn't troubled the scorers at all today.
He's had a tough day. He's had Rance for big chunks of it today, of course.
And let's look at this. He just got a shove in the back there and maybe a little trip as well. So Josh Bruce from 45 metres out. Nice approach, head over the ball, kick straight through it. That's how you kick a set shot goal. Saints have kicked 5 for the term. Bruce gets his first.
We might have a match here, Ian.
It's on.
It's on 21 points. Richmond want to be careful here because 8 minutes 30 seconds go. That is a lifetime when you've lost momentum.
Let's have a look at the other end of the ground where this controversial one came through, and you can clearly see that that was last touch by Sam Fisher. So well defended, and there's the free kick against the Tigers.
Probably wasn't a huge amount in that, but it was there. Good finish. Well done.
So centre clearance pretty important now, because if you're going to get the momentum together, which you'd need to do, Brownie, if they're to pull off a miraculous victory, you've just got to get a couple of cheapies out of the middle.
Well, let's see what happens. Stephen is caught by Martin. Is he going to get done? No, he gets it out. Cochin is claimed as well.
We have seen this a few weeks ago, Sandy. We did the game where St Kilda came back from 55 points down against the Western Bulldogs.
Exactly right. Well, it was 52 here. It's now 21. Time at the moment, probably not a factor. Over 8 minutes. And we all know how quickly we can score.
Last thing they need is to get their ruckman off, but he has got the blood issue. Riewoldt comes on.
They're
so
tougher at the moment,
down the middle. Sorry, Kingy.
They are tougher at the moment. 20 to 11 contested possessions this term. And when St Kilda are marking the ball, they're playing on. They're going straight away. 9 play-ons this quarter to Richmond's 1. That's the difference. They're playing at speed.
Barrich wins it, but they're not taking it out of the middle. Here's a high ball down towards Riewoldt and co. He won't fly. He doesn't have to. Boy, they're coming from everywhere. Farron Ray goes into the pocket, just a little too much on it for Paddy McCartan, and it sails over the top, and we've got to throw it in the right forward pocket.
Need to keep it more central there, Sandy. Top of the goal square. He had a one-on-one. Don't go wide. Put the pressure on the Richmond defenders there.
And he had Riewoldt deep. 45,722 starting to lift as Ellis is grabbed by Bruce and thrown to the ground. Umpire says, ball up. Had a good look at it, the umpy. The umpires today, Robert O'Gorman, Robert Finlay and Jacob Mollison have done a pretty good job. Throw up, Riewoldt, the third man up at the back. Here's a chance for Stephen trying to break through. Just throws it onto the boot. Good tackling pressure. Tigers just hoik it out towards the boundary line. We're going to throw in. No, it stays in play. Now, chance for Miles. Under pressure, Ellis flicks it around. Back to Miles. They're in trouble. Handball back. Delidio over the top. Now more drama. Line kick up the line came from McIntosh. And the ball goes over the line out of bounds. We'll have a throw in onto him. No! Free kick.
Great mark.
Paid the mark. So the mark to Riewoldt. Jack Riewoldt right on centre wing. Looks up.
But that's a fanatical tackling and pressure that St Kilda have implemented when they've been winning their games. And it was there in the first quarter, but it was in the cupboard in the second and third.
Hampson goes up. It spills the mark. It's Fisher to Bruce from defensive 50. They have to take some risks. It came into the centre of the ground. Matt Weller just puts the burners on and can go all the way. 2 bounces from 50 metres out. Matt Weller is magnificent. He kicks the goal. Can you believe it? The Saints have kicked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. Matt's got 3 and the game is wide open with minutes to play on this game. There's plenty of time. 6.5. St Kilda have jumped out of the grave. It's on here at Etihad Stadium. Wow.
How good is this? I didn't realise Matt Weller was that quick. He put on the afterburners, as you called it there. They're starting to take some risks though now. They've used the ball off half back. Of course, there's some individual brilliance here by Weller. What about the finish? A little bit of a push in the back by Hunt. That didn't worry him at all. Wow. Isn't there some life and atmosphere here, Sandy?
St John's ambulance staff in our commentary box just checking the heart rate of one E. Maguire.
Oh, here we go. What a game, Sandy.
Sensational. It's sensational. They have stormed back. What's going to happen in the middle this time? Grigg wobbles one down towards the half-forward line. Gordon, the sub, gets claimed. Goddard through, gets the hand pass away to Montagna. He gets a hurried kick back in the middle. Ellis is going to take the mark, and he does. Steadies it down. Just goes short.
And this is where they do need to steady the ball down, Sandy. Just get some control back, Richmond.
This is Miles. He finds Deledio.
Don't get caught up in playing the fast-flowing football that St Kilda wants to play at the moment.
Deledio, long and flat towards Riewoldt, who was held and is going to get a free kick.
That was a pretty good move. Go along to the one-on-one. Go along to the star forward.
Disappointment for Geary.
Just overdid it a bit, didn't he, Sandy?
Yeah. So a chance to stop the flow. And boy, it has been flowing. A 15-point ball game after it was looking in excess of a 52-point belting. Riewoldt. 40 metres out. 45-degree angle. A steadying goal is required. And he's missed to the right, one behind.
2 goals for to Jack Riewoldt now.
5.5 minutes remaining. So still an opportunity.
Getting all their numbers in the middle of the ground here, St Kilda players are. They've got a line straight up the middle. Let's try and create space on the outside. Richmond will try and counter by surrounding it.
The Tigers have got Vlosten at the other end of the ground alone at the moment. Bruce is a big flyer, almost on centre wing. Miles gets it out. The hand pass is wide to Cochin. Ball's going to sit okay, and it does for Newman. Chris Newman's kick up towards Marriage. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Roving was Lambert. He gets claimed, finds the boundary.
There's that pressure. The Saints are trying to make it a trademark. It's been consistent in every one of their wins and near wins. And it's back. Ducked his head, got away with it.
So throw in. Tigers need a steadier, no doubt, with 5 minutes on the clock. Marriage tries to hoik it out. Geary. It's long, it just slams it on the boot. McCartan has to beat 2 up. He goes and nearly does. He brought it to the front of the pack. Riewoldt's there, lending support. Riewoldt gets the turnover, and away goes Savage. Savage's kick is a good one. It's out in front of his teammate Nunes. Gets a bad bounce, drags his player down. Umpire said play on. Should have been a free kick to the Tigers, but it's not. Now's another chance as Sinclair goes to the goals. He's butchered the kick, but it's a throw in the forward pocket, and that'll do for the Saints. They've got a chance to load up here.
Yeah, you're spot on. Nunes did a magnificent job getting away with that. He dragged his opponent down, which allowed the Saints, who was backing him up.
He threw him into the turnbuckle.
He did.
Throw in.
Stomped on him.
In the forward pocket, Marriage gets the tap. Bouncing ball. Here we go. Kick around the body from Savage, but there's no one home. And Vlosten marks for the Tigers.
It's always astounded me, the goalkeeper capacity, Brownie. If it's good enough for the defence to have a goalkeeper, it's good enough for the side trying to kick a goal to have one on the last line as well.
Kilda's biggest ever comeback from three-quarter time was when they were 38 points down in Sydney in 1994 to win by a point. You might remember Plugger kicked 11 that day and fixed up Peter Caven. It was a memorable afternoon.
Certainly fixed him up. Boy, Cochin at the bottom, gets it out. Gordon, the sub, almost runs into his teammate there in Deledio. Is he going to be pinged? No, he was tripped, said the umpire.
Saints have got to get on their skates now. They'll be super fatigued, but they've got to get the numbers back.
And time rapidly becoming a factor, Jared. 3 minutes and 43 seconds remain. He goes backwards to Chaplin. They're quite content just to steady it down, maintain possession. Batchelor goes wide at a Hunt. Taylor Hunt gets a lead from Grimes.
Well, Jack Sinclair's got to be better there. Fresh legs. Needs to man up on the Richmond guys.
Grimes short again. It's going to be okay. Had a couple of options. McIntosh came from behind. Finds Hooley. Basher Hooley thinks about going backwards again and switching play, and he does to Chaplin, who can come to Rance, but he hasn't sighted him. Now he's got him. Frustration for St Kilda, but they're just maintaining the football at the moment. Ellis. Down the line he goes. Jack Riewoldt's a target. He's going to get a free kick. The advantage is paid. Miles is off. Gives it to the fresh legs of Gordon. Gordon's hand pass behind Dustin Martin. Wasn't good. Gordon tried to make amends, but he didn't get there. Fisher gets a hurried kick back towards Dempster. Doesn't travel to him, however, and it's marked by Miles.
Well, that was just pure fatigue from Sam Fisher. He was absolutely spent. He was desperate to find a handball. There was none there. And he had to get the heavy legs to kick it, and only went 20 metres.
Unfortunately, they're out of juice, St Kilda players. It's been a magnificent effort to come from this far back, but when Jack Sinclair missed that goal, that was really, you could see the petrol tank hit empty straight after that for all the St Kilda boys.
Just were,
So Anthony Miles averages 24 disposals for the year, is having his 24th disposal today, and is going to try and kick a steadying goal. It's away to the left, and he'll head it behind. But time is the enemy. 1:53 remaining.
So 3 goals in under 2 minutes. You'd think beyond the Saints, but Lee Montaigne's going to load up. They're up the corridor. They're going to bang it long. Everybody's up. So Montaigne plays to himself, gets the Shepherd. Now he goes up the middle of the ground. Up towards Big Longa. Flying in front was Farron Ray as well. Fall of the ball. Stephen tries to get it out. Well, the Saints can walk away from this game with their heads held high with their fight back. No doubt about that.
That's dropping the ball.
Basher Hurley does it beautifully. Umpire says throw it in. Let's go to David King.
Just having a look at the pressure gauge here, Ed, you can see the plus 24 differential is enormous. St Kilda's pressure really coming to the forward. It's a pity they couldn't get it going in the first half of today.
Miles, Cochin, Martin, back to Cochin, and the skipper disappointed that he put it out of bounds on the full.
And a good job by Dunstan. Cochin still at his 21, 22 possessions, but his influence on the game has been nothing like what we've come to see over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Ball has to go back.
He's had a mighty month, hasn't he, Trent Cochin?
Yes, he has.
A couple of months, in fact.
And at critical times too, Jared.
Yep.
Well, that's so unlike Armo, who's had a fantastic season. Miles gives it to Grigg. Tigers go charging forward again. Gordon lost sight of it.
St Kilda.
And it's going to be a free kick to the Saints.
Yep, spot on.
Dempster, advantage paid. Dempster's away. Is this the last roll of the dice for the Saints? They've got 1 minute and 5 seconds. They've got to be quick. They go down towards Riewoldt. Was he held? He was held. He's got a free kick. 58 seconds remaining, but it's not going to be enough time.
But it's been a fantastic fight back, and I think that everyone came here expecting a tussle, a tight tussle, a competitive game. And whilst it was a long way from that at three-quarter time, the Saints have done themselves some justice.
Riewoldt to the top of the square. Bruce with one hand couldn't take it. A snap by Savage. Oh, finds the woodwork. Normally deadly with his boot, but not on that occasion. Had to try and pull it back. And so it'll be Basher Hurley to bring it back.
So 16 points the margin with 35 seconds on the clock. Big Ivan Maric has tried hard all day. So too was Billy Longa, who's been a good player. Cochin gets the handball going out to Ellis. Ellis on the left boot. Good kick down the line. And the mark has been taken there by Gordon, who came on as the sub. He bombs it in. 3-on-1. And umpire let it go. Both players. Umpire's too tired to blow the whistle, I reckon. Anyway, Farron Ray. We want body contests. And Ray's kick up the line to Armitage. And that'll be it. The Tigers will get the points. They won't get the percentage. And St Kilda will take some pride from this game. But what a game it has been. It's been more than 4 points today. And a beautiful scene down here in the forward line as Nick Riewoldt, on the day that he commemorated the passing of his sister Maddie, is embraced by his opponent Troy Chaplin. At the other end, Jack Riewoldt coming together to find his cousin. It's been a wonderful day where 45,722 people have come together for a game of footy, but for something far grander than that. And that is to really get behind the family, the Riewoldts, but also a cause, as we try to find some sort of sense and some sort of, well, cure for what at the moment is a terrible disease. David King is down there at the moment, pulling together the two Riewoldt cousins, Nick Riewoldt and also Jack. We'll go down to David in a moment, but in a day where everybody has got a little bit of purple on them for Maddie, it's been a fantastic day for footy.
And Eddie, also a day with over 45,000, $5 going to the foundation from every person who paid to come in today. Let's go down to David King. He's got the Riewoldt boys with him, just positioning them now. Over to you, Kingy.
Yeah, we got the boys together. It's been an amazing day, an emotional build up to this. But firstly, from the outside looking in, well done, boys, for what you've been able to bring us into and allow us to be part of. Nick, how are you feeling?
Yeah, overwhelmed. Obviously, the game of footy today, but you know, for us, and I think for a lot of people here today, it sort of transcended footy. It wasn't about us. It wasn't about our family. It was about Maddie's legacy, and it's about all those other people that are out there suffering bone marrow failure. So the response has been overwhelming, and it'll change lives. What's happened today and what's happened over the past few months. So we're just really grateful to be making a difference.
Fantastic, Jake. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird feeling, Kingy. Obviously a win, but yeah, I don't know. To be honest, it's sort of a pretty emotional moment. Just a big sort of build up to this game. I'm a little bit glad that it's over, to be honest. And as Nick said, today wasn't about us. It was about the legacy that Madeline left, and no better legacy to leave than a legacy of saving lives.
He makes you proud, doesn't he?
He does. Every time I look at him speak, the way he leads his family, yeah, I just love him to death.
How are you feeling, Nick? And physically, I mean, to get to the line for one thing was an amazing effort. I can see now you're just starting to break down now, which must be really tough for you. Physically, you've gone through it all this week. Mentally, you've been just through the ringer, haven't you?
Yeah, we all have, Kingy. You know, I wish like anything that Maddie was here with us today, but she's not. And you know what she wanted was to make a difference. She wanted to work in this area and be an advocate for the cause. And obviously, we'd rather her be doing that, you know, living. But in lieu of her not being able to do it, you know, the response from everyone has just been outstanding, and we're really, really grateful. And I know she'd be so proud to, you know, Maddie's match all around the ground. Are you kidding? She'd be so proud, and yeah, we're really grateful.
You two have been amazing. You've been great ambassadors for your family and for your clubs. On behalf of everyone, well done, boys. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, mate.
Yeah.
What a beautiful moment,
It is
Sandy.
a fantastic moment, isn't it? And congratulations to everyone involved. If you'd like to contribute, of course you can. Simply SMS Maddie or 0437 371 371, and if you'd like to donate, you can also get on the website www.mrv.org.au. And what a lovely gesture that the two sides are coming over. Jack is receiving condolences from all the St Kilda players, and they're all walking off together, and there's almost an eerie silence around the ground at the moment. 45,000 fans, and there's Alan Richardson paying his respects to Jack.
The kick for cash check down here as well, Sandy. Some $34,500 being raised today by the goal kicking, and donations coming in from AV Jennings, a St Kilda sponsor, of course. And wonderful day today. There's Jack Riewoldt, the father of Maddie. And Alex, brother of Nick and Madeline.
And St Kilda stalwart Molly Meldrum there as well.
The family. Such an amazing, emotional day today as the presentation's happening on the ground.
Etihad Stadium for putting on the event has just been outstanding. Obviously, all the people involved at MRV, the response has been overwhelming. To all of you that have come out today, the fans of both teams and other teams, whoever you support, to get a packed house here today was beyond our wildest dreams, and the impact. Thank you. Today, and you know, the MRV organisation is about saving lives. I wish more than anything that Maddie could have been here today to to watch both teams play. This was her favourite fixture. But in lieu of that, you know, we've got a packed house, and her legacy is one that will save lives, but that's absolutely not possible without all your support. So we're really grateful as a family and as a football club, and at Maddie Riewoldt's Vision, we really want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Maddie would be so proud.
Yeah, another wonderful speech from Nick Riewoldt as his family come out to join him. But the bottom line is Richmond have hung on to record a win, but they certainly got a scare in the final term, eventually getting home by 16 points.
This has been a Fox Footy production, part of the Fox Sports Network.